Society Sound Popcast.
Hey, man.
Sure. So,
Are we freaking out today?
I'm freaking out. Is anybody nervous?
no, nobody's nervous. Maybe
I
King
know.
Congas is
I'm
nervous.
freaking out. I'm always freaking out.
You seen so behind you is King Congas. I don't know if we
I know. It's kind of making me nervous, but I was just the guy. I wasn't going to look him in the eye, so I'm just like, be cool. Don't look at him.
That make him nervous.
Yeah, man. How was your drive down to Atlanta?
Long.
Yeah?
I mean, because I'm driving the
You're
EV,
far.
so I had to stop and get a charge, and I just drive that little Leaf, which doesn't have much of a charge, and somebody forgot to plug it in last night. And every charger I stopped at had some body charging.
Oh, so you have to wait.
Dang.
Yeah.
And then wait for the charge.
Very irritating.
I guess you don't really know what you're getting yourself into until you're already in it, and now you're like, dang. Now all these like new learning curves, I guess.
That
right?
sounds like
With
the story
EV.
of my life. I didn't know what I was getting into, but then things happen. Yeah, that's what
Constantly learning curves.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I want an EV, man. I want a Tesla so bad. At first, I wanted the I think it's the X, is the truck with the wings. Yeah, is that the one?
I think so. I think it's
And
X.
The Cybertruck?
No.
No.
The other one. Well,
Oh,
the
yeah,
SUV looking one. And so at first but now I want the Cybertruck. But
Hey,
now I want both.
I just have a little Leaf, and let me tell you, that sucker's fast.
Yeah?
When I first
Really?
got that thing, people would like try to race me at lights, like the first few months, and then everybody finally figured out even a little Nissan Leaf is going to smoke you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I
Because
mean,
because it's all electric, the torque is available.
Torque is crazy.
It's available quicker than a turning mechanism.
Mechanical.
Yeah.
Yeah, only
Yeah.
had one car beat me.
yeah,
Was
which
it
one?
a Tesla?
I don't know anything about cars. It was some sort of sporty car. I don't know anything
Is
about
it
cars.
a Jaguar, the new Jaguar one?
Nah, it was probably a Tesla. It was like those guys are quick off
Well,
the
no,
line.
I'm talking about I'm against gas cars.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
not
yeah.
going to beat a better electric, but
Yeah,
I'll
for
beat a gas car. Hell yeah.
That's hard.
Right. No, that's cool.
Okay, put these down.
That's cool, bro.
Cool. Yeah.
How's everything been going for you? What's new? What you've been working on, man?
Okay, so a lot going on with the YouTube channel. Been doing that a lot, and sessions. So YouTube channels, I'm almost to 100,000 subscribers.
Wow.
That's blown up.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a couple big videos, and I've been doing more work. I'm live streaming a lot. I just got done mixing a 20-song album for the infamous String Dusters, which is a bluegrass group I won a Grammy with a few years ago. It was their 20th. It's their 20th anniversary album.
Man.
So I had to mix 20 songs, which was a job because bluegrass
2020.
is the hardest music I've ever had to mix.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. You got except for the stand-up bass, all the other instruments are in the same mid-range frequency
That's right.
area. You got fiddle, you got guitar, you got banjo, you got what did I say? Fiddle? Oh, and dobro. And banjo and dobro can kind of sound the same, so you got to make sure to pan them. And unlike other music, like program music, it's not like once you mix the verse, the rest of the verse, like you have to, the tones will change
That's right.
throughout the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
song.
There's specific arrangements.
So you're doing this automation, like, oh, he's a little brighter here, he's darker here, and all that. I mean, they're an amazing group, but and some people when they're mixing bluegrass, they just kind of stick like a multi-band compressor on the bass, and they kind of tuck it in there, and it's all very safe. I like to mix my bluegrass records like they're rap
It's like-
records.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
low end is punching.
Yeah.
I make powerful bluegrass records.
Most def.
So that shit is like hitting you.
Yeah.
So I got that done, and I'm doing a new album with the band Rehab, which I started pre-production a couple months ago. We just recorded we did 7 days of recording last week. We live streamed the whole thing from beginning to end. So we had some days we were live streaming for 14 hours. So we live stream everything from loading in drums and setting it up to trying to do vocal takes and Danny kind of oh God, I can't, and then eating pizza to guitar parts to parts where I'd have to mute the mic and have serious conversations with the people. They're
Yeah.
like, what's he saying?
Don't worry about it.
But it ended up great. It was really, really interesting, and it
That's hard.
was a lot of work, but the album's going to be really, really good. And then, of course, I got all my, just mix work people send in. And then I'm working on my own album, too. So I'm finally working on my music, which I've been live streaming as well. It's mostly done. I'm just trying to get it done in between everything else. So,
Gotcha. So hold on. So the Rehab characters, that band, you're recording everything and then you're going to be mixing it as well.
yep. I don't
And
know if
that's-
I'll live stream the mixing
Right.
Sometimes I'll do those on my Patreon. I have something called Deep Dives, and that's for people who are paying for my Patreon. And in those kind of situations, I'll go in because I can talk about stuff. When I'm doing bands, we call those fly on the wall live streams. I don't really communicate with the audience. It's just up there and
just
they
let it
can
happen.
watch.
It's up there.
I've got several moderators, like my wife Kit is on there modding, and then I've got somebody in Europe that mods. So depending on the hours, and I got somebody out on the West Coast that helps mod. So no matter what time I'm on, I've got extra moderators, and they'll answer what questions they can. And then if I'm going to do something more technical or I want to answer questions, that's on Patreon. And then like yesterday, I just did, I always live stream on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And because I hadn't been able to really talk to people because I've been working, I did a Q&A and I talked for 3 hours and just answered questions. 3 hours.
That's
so
really
dope.
cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, I kind of live online these days, but I'm working. A lot of times when I'm live stream, I'm working. If you see me online and I'm
Right.
doing music, I'm either working on my music or I've actually got on the rehab stuff. I got to do a bunch of background vocals because I usually do background vocals on that, and then I got to put down some guitar parts. So I'll be at some point live streaming some of that, and I'll just be sitting there putting down guitar parts.
With the live streaming of the bands when you're recording them, are you doing setting up the cameras yourself as well, or is it already set up and you just got to hit go, or do you have your sons help you with that?
No, my kids ain't gonna help me. God, are you kidding me? I mean, sometimes they do.
Yeah, they're busy doing their thing.
I set everything up. I usually have about 7 cameras set up. And then this last one, we had the drummer upstairs in the big living room. I think you guys have been up there, right, in my house.
Yeah.
So that big, I have mic lines run up there. I had a 16-channel snake up there, and I just ran an additional 12 up there, so I can mic up all the drums, but also for headphone mixes, and I can bring other musicians up there. Have a camera up there. There's multiple ones in the control room. Sometimes I'll have one in the vocal booth. Although this time we were all together. I set up all the cameras. Most of them are kind of permanently set up because I do this all the time.
Gotcha.
And then when I'm doing them, I have this guy Harper, he comes in and runs the cameras. So he's switching cameras most of the time, although sometimes he can't make it, so I'm kind of doing it myself. But normally he's doing the cameras. I have had one of my kids help me a couple times when he couldn't make it. He's actually really good. And then I got my wife Kit is modding. She's doing all the moderation,
communicating
and all that.
with
So
people.
it's like a team.
It's like a team effort for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that it would take me a minute to like be able to like film stuff and do my regularly scheduled program stuff.
It took
You know
me
what I mean? Like,
me a long time to get used to, and that's why I started doing as fly on the wall live streams. Like if it's just me playing guitar and I'm working out parts, I'm cool with that because to
Right.
me, like the audience is like some dude. I'm like, hey, check this out, you know.
Yeah.
But if I got a band, I'm trying to pay attention to all the people in the room, and I'm trying
Right.
to make sure the energy flow's going, so
like a
that we're
muscle
hitting
there.
everybody and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to talk to anybody, and I can glance up and see the chat, but I mostly ignore it.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like it's kind of a performance, but yeah, it took me a while to get used to doing it. To be honest with you, the first time I ever live streamed, I almost vomited before I hit the. I was so freaking nervous because I'm not used to being on camera. I
Right.
mean, I am now,
Billy Hume was freaking out with Billy Hume.
but that's why it's called that, because I'm always freaking out. I was like, and it's happened a couple other times. But we live stream on YouTube, Twitch at the same time. I just added Facebook. So we'll be doing 3 platforms at the same time. So it's and sometimes I do Instagram, but it's a mess. You know, that's a whole other
That's
issue.
a whole nother mess.
Yeah. So but it's fun because I got into music originally. When I got into music, I was in bands. I did not get into music to be a mixer and a producer. I got in this shit to be a rock
playing.
star.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be the guy getting out of the limousine going like,
Yeah.
and it never really happened. And so I like performing. So to me, live streaming and doing the videos, especially live streaming, is to me like, oh, it's kind of like being on stage.
Like a happy marriage
Yeah.
of it, the culmination of it all.
Of performance / being awesome.
Yeah.
And we have a good audience. Like I think people have figured out you can't get on there and say stupid things. People can ask questions and they can.
I've seen you address those things.
Oh, did you see that one?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
I've seen a couple of those. Yeah.
I kind of.
You went in, bro.
Oh yeah, and then I got with my mods and because we're usually very open to let people say things, but at a certain point, I think we need to tighten down on this. And it's not for me so much. I don't give a damn what anybody says. I know what I'm doing. Because there's always people like maybe you mic'd that guitar wrong. Whatever, man. But it's if there's band members there and they see weird comments, it might affect them.
Man,
So it's
it'll
you
throw them off fast,
you
man.
you can't have that up there. So they delete a lot of that stuff. And if somebody's still being a pain in the butt, we ban them.
Just kick them. Yeah.
It's because it's kind of, I look at it like, if you want to watch, it's fine, but it's kind of like, if you you know how it is. You have a session. It's like, hey, can my cousin come? It's like, he can come, but he can't say anything.
Yeah.
Right.
All
He
the
has to
time.
sit over there and be really quiet.
All the
So it's
time.
like that. So there are rules. You
Except
can't
it's the internet, so like anybody might show up, kind of a thing.
anybody, yeah. And then a couple times we've done this thing where only subscribers can comment. But I've made it public again. I think just people figure out, that don't bother, And I've also got, and it's not just my mods. I've got a lot of regular viewers, and they'll get on there and kind of help police, police the situation
yeah.
too. So I've got some really loyal
I
fans.
was just about to
Absolutely.
say that too. That now you're kind of like cultivating this culture that even just you don't even have to say anything, and you damn near won't even have to read them anymore. You do what Joe Rogan does: just post and ghost. You just post it, and then whatever they say or whatever they're doing through live stream, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then the fans are gonna take care of it.
Yeah, I think you guys came out for one of my really early live streams.
I believe it's the first like live one that you had that was production.
Yeah, like with other people, like really doing something. I think that was really
sitting down,
The
first
first
time.
one? Oh yeah, was it the first one?
Yeah.
I think so.
Wow.
But you had already done a lot of stuff on your own.
I'd done a lot,
It
but
was
not
when-
like that. Because I just like, okay, because I know what I'm gonna do. I mean, to some degree, but having other people in the room was like, okay, let's try that out.
Yeah, let's see how it's gonna go.
That was the
Man,
first
that day
time.
was so fun.
That day was out of here, man.
That
Yeah, I
day
should
was-
come out and do it again.
Yeah, right.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I got a
you
bigger
said it.
audience. I think
You
there
said it. That's
there
it.
Are probably
It's
three.
done.
There were probably 3 people watching us back then. I got a little bit bigger audience. now.
yeah. I had three people, and it was like 2 in the room.
Yeah.
It's Kit just monitoring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that I still remember the part where Quinto deleted like 20 minutes worth of work, and then you turned around and like, yo, I was gonna do something with that.
I got that screen
had
recording
something.
somewhere. But yeah, no, man. What you mean? What you mean you deleted it, man? No,
Yeah,
pull it back up.
Don't ever delete anything. No.
Yo,
Save it all.
same.
I know-
I am the same way.
Yeah.
Save a copy somewhere. Do a save as.
So it's
something.
It's vivid, He goes. All right, and delete. And I was like, delete? Oh my god! But at that point, I'd done so much work with him that like I learned to really trust his deletes. Like meaning, maybe it was good and you should save it. However, I do know that the next thing he does is gonna be really dope.
Yeah, it just so happened that I had been working on a guitar part.
Yeah, exactly. That's
yeah.
exactly what
I was
it
just ready to put it down. Hey, record this. Oh.
Yeah,
But that's part of the thing. You get in there, and I don't mind it being a little, kind of crazy when you're creating and all that, and just
Sure.
Yeah, you gotta get the kinks out, man. It's just part of the gig.
So when did you start all this music stuff? Let's talk about it. Let's go all the way back there. And you thought you were gonna become a rock star.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause-
before that,
We want to hear it
I
all.
was into
we have 5 hours.
I was into music, and
in the beginning.
we're not sponsoring
In the
this.
beginning.
This is not sponsored. I just needed some
Yeah.
caffeine. I was probably like 12 or 13. I was really getting into music. I was living in Berlin, Germany. My dad was in the military, and we had a piano in the house, and my mom was like, "We should all take piano. All your kids should take piano lessons." And that was back in the 70s. Piano was not cool.
Right.
I was listening to Black Sabbath and Uriah Heep and stuff like that. I was like, no, I want to be in a rock band. So
And you're in Germany.
when she had been talking about that, we had gone to. So when you're on a military base back then in Germany, you'd have these government buildings, and that building might have like, the place we go and do something with your passport, or maybe there's some doctor's offices there. But there'd be like on one part of the building, there might be like a nightclub for like the enlisted soldiers, and there'd be an officers club and enlisted soldiers. So we had gone to something. We're walking through another part of the building where there was one of these nightclubs for the soldiers, and it was during the day. So somebody was in there cleaning, and the door was open, and my mom's walking down the hallway, and she says, "I want you to take piano lessons." I'm like, how can I get out of this, right? And as I'm thinking that, I walk by this door, and this door was open to this nightclub, and all the lights were off there. It's up kind of around here and there, but there were some lights up on this stage, and there was a drum set up there, and the lights were shining on this drum set, and it was like, I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool. And I said, Mama, can I take drum lessons? And she's like, of course. So
You asked.
my sister knew somebody at school, this weird-looking dude with long freaking hair, and I took lessons from him. So I started playing drums, and then we moved to the States, and it was like something that was fun to do. But at some point, I can't even remember the exact moment, but I was like listening to a lot of music, and I started to learn guitar because I got in a band actually playing drums, and it's weird the timing of this because Ozzy Osbourne just passed yesterday.
That's right.
But the very first song I ever played with other people, not just playing the records, like there's a guitar player and a bass player, whatever, in a room. It was these guys, I don't even know how I met them through school. We go there, and they only played Black Sabbath songs. So I had to play Symptom of the Universe, which was one of their songs off the Sabotage album. And then it was like, then there's another Black Sabbath song. So it was like, oh, we're just only doing Black Sabbath songs? So that's what I started playing. But I had other ideas, and nobody would listen to the drummer because I started jamming with other musicians, and it was like combination of like nobody wanted my opinion, and I have a lot of opinions. I don't know if you guys have noticed that or not.
I like
but also I was like loading drums up is fucking pain in the butt, man. And
Right.
I did a little Volkswagen. I'm like, I'm switching to guitar.
Everyone knows that.
So I switched to guitar, and I just kind of kept going. And then at sometime around there, probably by the time I was 14, I was just like, this is it. This is it. And then I moved down here.
Rockstar.
Because that was in Virginia, and I moved down here. And well, the other thing that happened is that I wanted to have a band, and then I was at like, strangely enough, like a church youth group thing, and there was a guy like in his 30s that was running this one meeting and turned ahead of a band, and he showed me he had like a whole like instruments in his basement from this band. I was like, oh, he's got a real band, and he was telling me about recording, and he said Todd Rundgren, who's my hero, and I don't know if any younger people know who Todd Rundgren is, but just big hero of mine. Todd Rundgren recorded some albums where he did all the instruments, and I was like, how do you do that? You
Right.
know? And he's like, oh, there's this thing called multi-track recording. You know, I didn't know. So when I moved
man.
down here shortly after that, I was like, I had friends from high school and all that, but I wanted to work more. Like, hey, let's get together and jam. I was like, okay, let's jam. And let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's write some songs. I wanted to keep working. So I went out and bought a 4-track reel-to-reel, a Tascam 3340S. And it's this big, you've probably seen it at my studio.
Yeah.
It's this big-ass machine. It's got 4 tracks on it. It cost me $800. I had to get a bank loan for it because my parents were going to buy that crap for me. So I got them to co-sign a bank loan. Like, okay, we'll put our names on. You got to make the payments. $800 at 15 years old. So I went and worked at Captain D's, part-time, and then I would go out and like sweep houses at construction sites, and I started recording, and I really got into it. And then there's a whole series of like gear purchases and all that, but it was all primarily to do my own music. And I did that up until I always had my own bands, up until my early 30s. But along the way, I was like, well, I'm good at this, and I got a studio in my house to make these payments instead of just working at Captain D's and all that. I will start charging for studio time because I realized, oh, wait, I'm actually good at this.
Yeah.
So people started paying me, and then they kept offering more money. And
Was it like high school kids?
it
or-
was that, well, I wouldn't charge anybody in high school. We were just getting together and like partying and making music and doing wacky stuff. But when I got out of it, yeah, I actually recorded when I got my first 8-track studio. It was in Norcross, not far from where the Zone is at. I actually did a session with a group that became the Black Crows. They were called Mr. Crow's Garden.
Oh, wow.
And the next year, they're the Black Crows.
Dang.
Yeah, they
Wow.
didn't sound anything like the Black Crows at that time. And actually, some of the guys in Driving and Crying were hanging out at that session, but they're all like high school guys, And I think Chris had just graduated from high school, so it was like I actually started to meet legendary people in Atlanta.
Wow.
And but it kept growing, and then it was like in the 90s. God, it's such a weird story. I got some videos about this, how I met all these people. But my air conditioner repairman, I had the studio. I had the one in Norcross, which I've had forever.
Yeah.
But it was like I was just recording local bands, and this guy who's an air conditioner repairman convinced me I should work on rap music. And I thought that was the dumbest thing in the world.
Okay, hold on, pause right there. So I just wanted to ask because I never knew this part. So from Berlin, you came straight to Atlanta,
No, I went to no, I went to Virginia.
Virginia first.
I have a complicated life.
Yeah, no.
But
well,
it was,
it's
Virginia
experience.
and then Atlanta. So I moved
Okay.
here in 79.
Got you. Well, okay, so it's still the end
I'm
of the
old.
70s.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
I got microphones.
You were
that are older than
29
you.
in 79?
29? Come on, man. No.
No, I'm kidding. I'm
oh
kidding.
my
I'm
But,
kidding.
God. It makes him from the
Yeah,
from the
it's such
40s?
a weird story, and I never really thought about it much until I started the YouTube channel, and people wanted to hear my story. So I'm
Yeah.
like going back and finding pictures. I'm like, wait, who did I meet first? And I didn't realize how
Start
long.
making
I
accounts.
met Bone Crusher in like '96 or '97.
Holy moly, yeah.
I thought it was later than that. And then like I met Paul Diaz from Tree Sound in like '94, '93.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was talking to Paul not long ago, which he told me a lot about that. So I definitely want to touch on that. for
Yeah,
sure in a
there's some,
minute.
and I just kept going, and I always had my own bands, and I got a lot of college airplay with my music, and I had some major labels look at my stuff, but I never got the deal. And at a certain point, it's like, I want to keep doing my music, but man, people want to hire me to mix and produce and record and all that. I want to just be the man at something, because and it was hard to have a band back then. Back then, there was no internet. Like, there's no way to promote the music. Like,
Exactly.
the only option if you had a band was to either be in a cover band playing at bars, which I did. I had gone out on the road and toured with bands that were cover bands.
Yeah.
And that's all we did, 6 nights a week, right? And that was good training.
Yep.
6 nights a week.
Oh yeah, sometimes I'd do 3-4 sets a night. Wow. I was playing like, it's like, this week we have to play the Stray Cats song, that rockabilly stuff. We got to learn this new Michael Jackson song and a ZZ Top song. So you might go ZZ Top, Michael Jackson, Shalimar, whatever. And so I learned a lot of genres of music. I had to learn it. And I was singing lead on some and doing background. And then I came back and I started original bands around Atlanta, and I was getting some things going. And then a lot of times I was doing the singer-songwriter thing, just me with my mandolin singing my crazy songs about spirits and angels and shit like that. And but then I met, because of my air conditioner repairman, who said I should do rap music.
Right.
And I'm willing to try some crazy stuff. It seemed like the most unlikely thing I would do because I didn't know anything about it. And at that time, people's perception around Atlanta, the music scene, was that I'm like this kind of hippie guy. Like, he's like this hobbit because I have beads in my hair and I play the mandolin and I sing these weird songs. The next thing you know, I'm doing freaking like crunk music. Everybody's like, what the hell's he doing? But I liked Bone. I'd met them. We did this album just from local guys and multiple. It was called Full Contact Sports. And I got to make a video about it because it's a crazy story. But it was something we just did. This guy, Chris Vermillion, who's a good friend of mine, actually lives out near where I live now, so we stay in touch. I don't even know how he met all these people. He's just one of those guys like, well, I met this guy, and there's this guy named Little John, and he had this song out, but he's like, A&R at So Def, and I met Little John, I met all these guys, we did this compilation record, L Rock, the musician, all these guys. It didn't go anywhere. But everybody around town heard it, and they're like, who the hell recorded and mixed this? And that is like,
yeah.
So I started doing that, and I just was like, man, I think I'll just like focus on this for a while.
On the rap guys.
And I was also I'd done a bunch of work with Rick Beato as his engineer, but I had to get out of that. I was kind of sick of rock and roll. Rock and roll was boring in the 90s. And it was very rock and roll in the 90s. And even to a certain degree, a lot of bands today, they're very conservative. Like, oh, well, don't, like, well, let's make this thing explode. Oh, I don't know. They didn't like low end. They're worried about the bass being too loud. I also hate having conversations and discussions. You throw out an idea and people are like, before you try anything, like, well, I don't know. And you've got to have a freaking 20-minute long conversation. And that drives me nuts. Let's just try it. Rap session, what happens if somebody has an idea?
That's ass.
Let's try it. Well, somebody might say that, but they're willing. I find most guys like me, at least the guys I was singing, I was like, well, try it. And they're like, cool, or not, whatever.
Sure.
And it was like, okay, this is a chance for me to like, try some stuff. Plus, I finally am going to get massive low end. I want to blow up speakers.
Yep.
I want to blow people's eardrums.
Yeah.
Right? I want to like freaking make the speakers explode. And all those guys were like, take it as far as you want to go.
Nice.
Whereas in the past, everybody was like, careful. And I get it because I was doing all sorts of weird stuff back then. It was like rock bands, but I did a bunch of albums for like these, that sounds crazy, rabbis. So I was doing,
Wow.
So Rabbi Mordechai Dubin.
I wasn't ready for that one.
It just keeps going.
Yeah, so
the universe ever expanding.
Rabbi Mordechai Dubin came in and he would do
That's the homie.
children's records that was in Hebrew, right? That led me to Liat Lasseter, who sang. I don't even know how I hooked up with these people, and I suddenly had like these Jewish clients, and these guys are like, we're talking traditional guys with all the stuff on, and they couldn't come over on Saturdays, like Friday night. Okay, the sun's going down at this time. The sun goes down at 6:02 tomorrow, so I'll start driving because they can't use the phone. Great
yeah,
client
on Saturday,
though.
right?
But I did this one album, and it was like Liat Lasseter. She sang in multiple languages, so she's like doing songs that were in Yemenite and Yiddish and all that. And she'd have to bring an interpreter, and these songs are like 2,000 years old, 3,000 years old type stuff. Wow. And she'd bring this interpreter, make sure she's pronouncing it right. We'd have a guy from Iran and Iraq and Saudi Arabia playing instruments that were made in their hometowns. There had to be interpreters so they could all talk, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
I would do stuff like that, and I was doing it all. And but then when the rap thing hit, it was like, this is cool. I don't have to be careful, and also it's the first time in my life I ever felt accepted by people.
Man.
Because I'm a little weird, in case you haven't noticed, right?
No idea.
No idea, right?
No idea.
But I was really weird back then. But all the rap guys were like, I mean, you know, they sometimes they would like fuck with me and laugh at me, but it was more like I was in on the joke,
It was camaraderie, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, ha ha. And it was like, cool. And my wife, Crystal, we weren't married yet, but she would hang out at the studio, and she's kind of, I wouldn't say hippie-ish, but somebody might interpret it that way. So she's like making dream catchers, right? During a rap session, she's sitting on the couch making dream catchers with little feathers and beads, right?
Sure.
Some people would kind of like, but you'd have like the most, you know, hardcore rapper guy, just tough dude, like, yeah. And he'd sit down and go, what you doing? And she'd like, I'm making a dream catcher. What is that?
Yeah.
She would explain what it is. And he's like, can you make me one?
Yeah.
So she's sitting there making dream catchers rappers. I'm like, I love these people. Like, they're like accepting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another. And then next you know, it's like, I going down the road one day and I hear this song coming out like booming from a car. And I go, oh, that's me playing mandolin on that song. I recorded and mixed that and I played mandolin. What a coincidence. Little John must have a friend out here that he must have given a cassette to.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, that's a coincidence, right? And then a couple of days later, I'm in the grocery store, and my wife's there, and she's talking like, "What do you do in the studio?" I'm like, "Oh, I got Little John coming in today," and the cashier like looks at me like that, and she's like, "Little John's like, yeah." I'm like, "Man, he's got friends everywhere," and I didn't know. I'm down in my hole. It's like, and it wasn't like he was famous. He was just starting to come up. But I suddenly, so next time Little John comes in, like, "Hey, are you famous?" I knew he worked at the record label, but I always thought of him as more of an A&R guy because he didn't. Little John came in the studio wearing a button-up shirt and khaki pants.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I got pictures of him that I careful put on public. I don't know if he wants. He didn't have the sunglasses. He's just like he's like, oh, he works at this record label and he's a producer. I didn't know he.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know that he was a star.
I knew he was big, but not like that. And so, oh, he was becoming a star.
Yeah.
And then when
right.
he came out with that look, everybody that knew that scene is like, man, he looks like KK. It was like the Bone Crusher's road manager. KK looked like Little John for K. And I think Little John got his idea from KK.
Got the whole character.
Maybe, right?
It was just a great adventure, and it was just like fun, you know. And it just took off, and then things. I did that for years.
What song is that? Do you remember what song it was?
It was
playing?
Trick Busta, which is the clean version of. I can't even. Both the words are cuss words. I can't even say them here.
Yeah.
You
F-
can actually
You
hear
can say
it.
It's like nah. Okay, so I'm gonna say, and
yeah.
that was on Tommy Boy. Oh yeah, they were like, because I play mandolin. They're like, hey, what's that little guitar up there? I'm like, that's a mandolin, and I pulled it down and played it on there, and yeah,
Oh, wow.
got on the radio.
Yeah.
So I think it was Tommy Boy.
That's really cool.
Man.
It feels like that era of hip hop was still like really accepting of being new,
It's experimental.
and so they were very experimental. Would that
Yes.
sound about right?
Yes. So good point, because crunk was kind of being invented at the time. We were still doing like,
developed.
what do you call that? Miami booty shake or whatever you call that.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
terrible at
Miami
genres.
bass.
I don't care. I just make the music. But yeah, I was like boom, boom, you know, fast stuff. And we're all figuring out stuff. And they're like
That's right.
after we
Yeah.
had a bunch of hits, like once I got into like 2007, 2008, then it was like everybody wanted to sound like that.
Crunk.
And I was ready to move on. At a certain point, I was like, okay, now I'm getting bored with this. And all those guys, they'd all had hits, and they were still having hits to some degree, but it was starting to get out, and I was kind of getting bored with it. And the other thing was, like, I got into rap music because I made friends with these guys, and it was a fun journey. But at a certain point, I'm getting hired by all these people. I don't know who the hell they are. And
Oh, wow.
I just kind of was like, I don't know, it just didn't seem fun anymore because, like, some of those guys got into doing movies and doing other stuff. And you know how it goes. It's hard to stay on top forever. And that's when I started looking at, I actually, strangely enough, went from that into doing Christian music, which was not, that was a short adventure.
Really?
Well, you know, when you're in a meeting with a guy who runs a church and he's got a studio there, and I just can't not saying fuck over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't even realize I'm saying it.
It's a
And
really
it's like, and they
sharp
laugh
turn.
at it, but that's a whole weird genre. I just got it the hell out of that. Then I did country music, and then into bluegrass, and then it's just whatever, you
That's
know.
fire.
I think that's the beauty of picking this kind of career choice, because not only are you like in different studios every day, you have different times in, different times out.
Yeah.
You know, you can go, you know what, I'm done with this rap stuff. Let me go to R&B, you know, or like I'm done with R&B. Let me start working on
Yeah, it's just a
gospel.
It's just a new house every day. It's a new
Well-
house you're building every day.
Well, if you're lucky enough, if you're talented like Billy Hume, right?
Yeah.
Because
Risky.
some guys just get stuck in EDM and then that's it. That's all
Right,
you're
right,
doing
right.
is just
I get
EDM every
bored.
day.
Yeah, I got bored. I got into country music a few years ago. I'm not really doing it much now, but did a bunch of things in Nashville at the big studios with the Big Cat studio musicians. Nothing big. Like, we had huge investors and great records. They just never quite took off. They got some, whatever. But I got hooked up with a bunch of indie country guys. Like, these guys just like playing around the country a little bit, maybe playing the Southeast, like North Georgia, Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, part of North Alabama. There's like a network of all these guys that are doing the same thing. They didn't know I had done rap music, and it was mostly because of this one artist named Pistol Hill, who I had done some work for that I met. I'm trying to remember how I met. Oh, I actually met her through another business I'd started with a friend where we were doing music and custom music and videos for people who like authors of books. Oh, it's a whole other thing. And that was a crazy adventure, but it had nothing to do with the music business necessarily. But I met her. She knew him. He came down. So he went out and he was touring all that. He told everybody about me. So suddenly I got all these country guys coming in doing like real country. I'd go out to do pre-production.
Yeah.
And I'd go out to their place, and I'm used to the country, but we'd be driving so far back going to pre-production. It'd be down this holler, and there's these trailers. Like, I don't even want to know. I don't know if I even want to walk up to it. Somebody might shoot me. Like, we're talking country.
Yeah, deep.
That's where we're doing pre-production. So it's real country. And these guys are like real country boys with these long hair and beards, and they're just like tough guys and all that. And at some point, they would figure out that I did rap music. It would come out somehow. And they'd be like, "You did the Yin Yang Twins?" And I'm thinking they're going to have this bad reaction like, "We love the Yin Yang Twins."
Yeah.
They know more lyrics to those songs than
Yeah,
I
they
do.
do,
I'm like,
definitely.
what? You know?
man.
So I did that for a while. But
That's
yeah,
really
it's
cool.
just but you got to immerse. If you're going to
legendary.
switch genres, you got to immerse yourself. Because when I got into rap music, I
100%.
had to go. I was
yeah.
going and hanging out down at Bone Crusher's house. He was living down by the zoo in kind of a rough area. Little John, they had their black market entertainment. Is that what is it? And BME, yeah. And they had a house down on, I think it was Harwell Street, which is down southwest Atlanta, which was like,
Yeah.
you know, you
The
sit on the
trap.
front porch there and it's like crack people and weird people walking up and
Yeah.
down the street. So they had one house with an office in it, and next door they had a house where they would keep artists that were from out of town that could stay there. I just go down there and hang out. I just want to figure out
be a
what's
part
going
of
on.
it.
Yeah, I was down with my cowboy
That's
hat
so
on
fire,
and all that.
man.
Oh, wow.
I was like, let me just go hang out with those guys, and made really good friends with all those people. And then sometimes we just do songs on the side for fun of it. But it's like, if I'm going to do this, I have to immerse myself in this thing and figure it out. Somebody was like, I don't know what a rap record should sound like. And somebody was, the air conditioner man's like, you need to listen to this Wu-Tang Clan record, which I thought sounded horrible. I actually still think that to this day. It was probably
do
the
you?
worst rap record you could ever, because it's like, that does not sound like Southern music.
That's even better.
Yeah.
But I
exactly.
listened to it, and then I was like, screw it, I'll do what I want.
That's true. That's true. It's not Southern music. I think that plays a big part in like the whole story you have, because Atlanta was technically not on top of the rap market, right? Like you were part of developing the newest, hottest thing that was about to.
It wasn't
blow.
only that. Atlanta, in the music business in general, was seen as a backwater. So like when I had my bands in the 80s and into the 90s and we would get any attention from a record label or anybody in the industry, I would lie and tell them I wasn't from Atlanta.
Really?
Because I can't tell you how many times I told somebody, they're like, "You're in Atlanta," and they would. I got laughed
Wow.
at because it was like back then it was
no
like,
love.
well,
still like that.
their perception at the time was like Dukes of Hazzard.
Sure.
Atlanta was,
Yeah.
Atlanta was kind
Ye-
of backwater. It was like
yeehaw.
I couldn't get a cup of espresso anywhere. There's like you could not. If I wanted to get some a can of Cafe Bustelo, I would have to have my uncle in Puerto Rico send it to me.
Wow.
I couldn't. Finally, at one point, Kroger started carrying Cafe Bustelo. I'm like, we're arriving.
Yeah.
But it was very backwater. There was no real industry here.
Yeah.
And it was like around the Olympics.
Yep.
And then when I started working with those guys, and suddenly you had record labels here. And I remember the first time, because before that, everybody left Atlanta to go have a music career. But I remember the first person I ever met, they're like, I moved to Atlanta for music. And I'm like, what a fucking idiot. Like, well, and then I've met another. It's like, oh, maybe they're onto something here.
So I was about to ask you, was it Paul?
It was no. Paul. Well, Paul's like he's a Miami guy, but rap changed not only Atlanta but the music industry on multiple levels. 'Cause
Absolutely,
I
man.
remember people. I'm not going to mention any names. I was told I was throwing my career away when I announced to somebody in particular that I'm going to quit working with you. I'm going to focus on rap music because rap music is not really on the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
But I knew it was going to.
Yeah.
And I had so many people.
Right in front of it.
I lost friends over that stuff. I think some of it was racist,
I love this
but it
story.
was also kind of, they just didn't even understand. They were like, why is the guy with the mandolin and the long hair
Right. Because
doing
it doesn't fit in the
rap
music box.
But I liked it. And then within a couple of years, I'm having Billboard hits and rap just took over.
Yeah.
So many levels. It changed Atlanta and it changed touring because like if you want to tour with a band, it's very expensive and you need all these roadies and all that. Yeah, rap music, you can tour with like your road manager,
homies.
a guy with an MPC or some sort of playback thing and the rapper.
Right.
You're
And
good.
your
Maybe
DJ.
Yeah, your DJ. It's like you only need a handful of people.
Wow.
There were so many different levels of
Changed
what it was.
industries.
It was also the forefront of home studios. So I'd always had a home studio. I had a 16-track. I bought a 16-track, 1-inch analog reel-to-reel in the late 80s for $20,000. Another bank loan I had to get. $20,000 for a tape machine, a remote, not including all the cables. I was serious debt. But rap music was kind of built at, like with rock and roll, you want to get a deal and go to this big studio. Rap music is like, whoa, we just record this on whatever, right? We do it in the basement. The whole ethic is very different. And that revolutionized home studios.
Home studios,
People
right.
started thinking about it and taking it more seriously. And I was already there. I'm like, well, shit, yeah, because I don't really like going to big studios so much. There's just people there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
There's
it's
like a clock you got to look at.
Yeah, and it's like being in a home. It's just more chill, you know. I mean,
100%.
I've been to a couple studios that are kind of run like that, but it was like rap music changed everything to me. And you know, now you got people, you know, obviously been a long time, you know, you have people in loops and they're doing rapping and all kinds of music. But at the beginning, everybody I knew that wasn't doing rap music hated it.
Yeah.
My family was appalled because they heard like that Bone Crusher record and they're like, he's cussing on this record. And they misunderstood some of the things he was saying. It's like, he didn't really mean that. Oh my God. But then when I got married, Bone Crusher and David Banner came to my wedding and they're like, oh, we like these guys, you know? So
Yeah.
like, you
Right,
know,
right.
And, you know, so it was like, but it was just like, I don't know. I can't say enough about it. It's just like, it changed music. It changed me
Yeah.
as an artist because I understood more about the importance of feeling and vibe in music because those guys, most of them don't know anything about music theory. And I was brought up in it. Not that I know a lot about music theory, but there are rules and you can do this and that. And these guys, they don't know. They'd be doing shit. And I'm like, oh, that's wrong. And then later on, I'll be like, that's
really
cool.
cool.
All
Yeah.
based on feel.
Me and Brian talk about that all the time because and it's happened to me, it's happened to him, or in a rap session, like the rapper will go, yo, cut this bar out of there. And it's like, but that kills the entire 4 bar. You can't just take a bar out, you know, that kind of thing. But if you do it, it's It's really cool.
Oh, I got to tell you something. Hold on, this chair keeps sliding down.
Is it? We
It's all right. I feel like at home because my chair at home does this. And I've had it for 20 years and I keep not getting rid of it. So if you watch my live streams, like, and then I go,
we can switch it out.
So on this new Rehab record, I don't know why it's like this. So Danny Boone is he's one of the best singers and rappers and creative people I've ever met in life, but he doesn't know music, right? Like, it's not like he's like, oh, is that the chorus or whatever? He hears the music and he sings along. So we were making these beats, but we were writing on the live stream. We actually wrote most of the songs during the live stream too.
Yeah.
So we're making this thing, and I would make the verses longer because I didn't know where they were going to end.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't realize I was doing so. I'll tend to overwrite. And then if it's too long, he'll just cut it short and find a good place to cut it. And it all still works. But on this thing, it would go and I'm thinking, oh, this is getting kind of long. He's like, how many bars is that? And go, oh shit, it's 10 or it's 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
Oh.
like, we had one that is a 21 bar verse, but it's genius.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's
don't worry,
cool.
I'm gonna make it work. So since I've done some movie scores, nothing big, but independent films, movie scores are weird when you're working on movie scores. In music, you got 8, 16, 32, sometimes 12, occasionally 4. Everything works off that. In movie scores, you might be going along and you want to get the tempo a certain way to go with the scene, but that might mean that it's going to cut off like on a 3 of a measure or something like that. So you got to figure that out. And then there's ways you can do things like misdirection or something with the music suddenly makes people believe this is the end, right?
Yeah.
And I did that. But eventually when the record will come out, if you hear it, you'll never know it's a 21 bar
Oh my
verse.
goodness. Yeah, I gotta
Because
hear that.
I did some crazy stuff and I put a break in there and it all sounds like it's
It's all cohesive.
Oh shit.
no, we're going with a 21 bar verse.
That's
Yeah.
fire, dude.
And you'll never
Made
know.
it
So
happen.
wait. Is the break in somewhere in the middle of the
The
verse?
break is the 1 bar.
Okay. Yeah.
I can do 20. I can do a 20.
Yeah.
One that extra bar, so there's a break, and it happens. When you hear it, I'll play it for you guys at some point. We're still working on the record, but when you hear it, you'll go, oh. And it was like, it took me a while to figure that one out. I was like,
Yeah.
And he just says this
And
thing.
then it clicks.
Yeah, boom, and then it drops in, and then we had.
I love it.
And then there's like 4 more bars or something it was something like that. And it worked
Gotcha.
out.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, is it in the middle of the verse? You
Yeah.
had to do a one
Did the
bar,
1 bar.
and then it drops back in.
Yeah, it kind of
And then-
tricks
and
you.
so-
'Cause
so you
have
I
20.
build this thing up because I'm doing all these
Yeah,
vocals.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
You're designing
I
it.
have like 20 of my vocals stacked like a choir on there.
Sick.
And it builds up and then just crashes and he goes, and then
Yeah.
boom, we're back in.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
all kind of makes sense. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
That sounds
It's
like it belongs on
that's-
Too Fast, Too Furious.
that's
I mean,
creativity.
the next Fast and the Furious for some reason. You know what I mean?
Let's go. You know, me and Brian worked on this bachata record, and we had the hardest time. So there was a producer in Dominican Republic where they're making a lot of the music, but we did it off of a demo track when we were producing and writing the song. And me and Brian actually wrote most of the chorus and the second verse, right? On the ¿Qué voy a hacer? Right? So like what happened was we wrote the verse almost in a pop structure. And it's only 8 bars, except we used the first bar as a rest. And then so we actually start on the 2,
Oh, interesting.
on the second bar. And so it's just 2, 3, 4, and then another 3, and then another whatever, I don't know, whatever we designed. So when we sent it out to DR, though, to get the music actually tracked, the live instruments, they were like, they did that, but in their mind, it's actually like a turnaround. And so he did the turnaround and then created the 2. He made that into a 1. And then now we were missing a bar because he made it a whole another 8 or whatever it was.
So by the time you get back to the chorus or whatever, you're like a bar late or something.
Yeah, you're a bar extra. And it's like, no, but because he was like, no, but that's not how that goes. And we were like, hey, no, bro, I promise you, when the vocals come in, that's the 2. And he's like, no, that doesn't work like that. But it's because that's their music. But I have this thing, man, and I've always like learned so much from you, Billy. And I could tell you this, that like, you're not the only one, because I have another story I want to tell you. I think your experience in other genres, you bringing that to, like, say, your rap experience, and these country guys are like, you did the rap, like, you having that creativity and having that, like, let's try it mentality, like, man, you get to do exactly what you just said you did and add this and da-da-da-da, and we're doing so much of that for the Latino side of things because people don't even have an idea that you could just creatively, I don't know, just invent anything. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be no way, really, at all.
Oh, go ahead.
No, there's a gentleman who's in Puerto Rico. He's a mastering engineer. I was gonna tell you about him. So he is, I want to say, your like parallel universe. Um, he's a mastering engineer, but he's the parallel universe Billy Hume.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
as you are to rap, he is to reggaeton, and in Spanish, right? So the guy is Argentinian, and he comes from tango music, and so he moves to Miami and meets a Puerto Rican woman, and just like falls in love. This is his story, and then he goes to Puerto Rico because fell in love, and then because people heard he had a studio, that kind of a thing. So they get in there, and here are these. It's the equivalent, right? Like the rap version of Puerto Rico, and these urban kids are like, "Yo, let's do it. Let's get him to mix and master a song for us." And he's like, "This music sounds like garbage, but like the basses is too loud." And he's like, it's all a ruckus to him, so he has no idea really what he's even listening to. So it's like a parallel story of like that urban meets like this really careful music, right? Like everything you said. And what happened was he goes, "I don't know what to do with this, but it's dull, so I'm just gonna add brightness," because he comes from a tango background, right? So he's used to these really high pitched instruments. And so he just added a lot of brightness, and he just mastered the record. So when he turns it back to the DJ, and by the way, the most famous DJ, Nelson, which is like the goat of, like, he's like a godfather to the whole genre, to reggaeton. He they sit in his car, and it's just booming. And then so bro said he told me the story because I got to talk to him, but he goes, "This sounds like garbage." Like he was upset, like he thought the client was gonna hate the record, just hate his sound. And so bro goes, "This sounds amazing. This is perfect." And so at that point, him as an engineer, he goes, "Oh, I guess I don't know anything." Like, cause I thought it was garbage. And same, all his colleagues were like, "Bro, that sucks. Oh, are you doing that ghetto music over there in Puerto Rico?" And it's like a parallel story, man. And so hopefully one day we all get to meet each other and stuff like that. And you get to meet that guy. And coincidentally, he's in Puerto Rico. So
Nice,
you're Puerto
nice.
Rican, yeah. It's a fire.
That actually makes me think about something that Jimmy Douglas said to me. So Jimmy Douglas is a mixer, and he's done like a lot of like Missy Elliott and Timbaland and pop records, but his background was more like in rock. I think he'd worked with Led Zeppelin and stuff like
Wow.
that. And I got to interview him when I was with the Recording Academy. I'd speak at events, so I interviewed him for something, and he said something interesting. He's from Virginia Beach, and he's got a studio there. And some kids in the neighborhood found out that he had a studio. And they come out, and there's like a guy and a girl, is Missy Elliott and Timbaland. And
Wow.
but they're kids in the neighborhood, like, "Oh, could you help us work on some music?" And he's like, "I mean, yeah, whatever. Like, do you have anything?" And they had made some demos. And when they played it for him, it was like, I thought it was the worst crap in the world because the snare drum sounded like somebody had like an empty Coke or an empty milk jug and just hitting it with a stick. Because in his mind, a snare drum is a Black Beauty, nice Black Beauty with a 57 on
Like
top that would leave,
firecrack, yeah.
like a big,
Yeah.
poof. And then all of a sudden it's like, "Kang!" It's like, that's the snare drum. But they kept bringing it around, and he said, I decided to just pretend I didn't know anything, that I didn't know what music should sound like.
Wisdom.
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh, that was an interesting way of looking at
Yeah,
it.
just wisdom, man.
And just sometimes you got to like deconstruct, like when you're deep in a genre or something, and you want to go listen to something else. I think it's easier for people just to say, oh, that's all crap. I hate when people say that. I mean, there's definitely certain kinds of music I don't like, but that doesn't mean it's not good. I just maybe don't understand it, right? Mm-hmm. But if you really want to get into something, you want to move on, sometimes it's just good to go in and pretend you don't know a damn thing about the way music should be composed, performed, mixed, whatever. Let's just say, I don't know, shit, and go in there and like start from scratch. And I think that's something that people could benefit a lot if they just pretended that they like forget everything you know.
Right.
Just turn it off for a while and just start over, and you'll find some cool things.
Go on the journey.
It's like an ego thing, right? It's like an ego. Like,
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, I guess it's that, but also we all we get used to what we're doing. You get used to hearing things a certain way. People start thinking that music should be this way. I mean, even to a certain degree, it was that way with recording on computers. Because when I was coming up, like when I was working with Paul, I was working on my album back when I was like a artist.
A youngin'.
And I'd done most of it on my 16-track analog machine. I met Paul Diaz, and he gave me free studio time because he had a label. And he's like, well, you can just come up here and work. And we transferred that to the Studio 24-track. So it's, adding more tracks is a 2-inch 24-track. He had a Mitsubishi 32-track digital machine. We transferred some stuff there just for mixing. But it was still basically analog. And mixing through his old SSL. He had the 11. I was working on the 11 console back in the 90s. And it was old back then. And
That's hilarious.
when
Still
digital came out, I jumped on it because I kind of hated analog.
Wow.
To me, analog was like, I hate these fucking reels of tape. They're expensive. They
Cumbersome.
also, the thing with analog, because of the way, I'll do shit over and over and over again. You record something in analog, even if you demagnetize your heads and all that on a regular basis, every time you run the tape over the heads, it does erase a little bit of the high end. So it's like, over time, it gets duller. And there's a million other things. Or you record, and even on the best of machines, every track might sound slightly different based on a bunch of factors. It could be the tape, a million other things, but a human has to get in there and align each track. And if there's so I just wanted it to sound like it's like I got the mic up. I like that sound with analog. You'd record it, play it back, and go, I need to add some. You'd have to adjust. I hated that. Yeah. Also, lack of recallability. So the minute I could record on a computer, I bought Pro Tools. It was an Audio Media 3 card, and it was just a little card that went in the back of your computer and had 2 RCA inputs and 2 RCA outputs, but it also had a SMPTE jack, which was for syncing to a tape machine.
Right.
It only would do 8 tracks, but it was assignable tracks. So let's say you had something on track 4, and in part of the song it wasn't playing, you could put something on another track and tell it voice 4. So as long as 2 things were, so I could tweak out some extra tracks sometimes.
Finesse
I could sync that to my 16 track and get extra tracks. But then I started, and they had a little mixer in there and all that. And then I was like, they came out with the Digio 1, and you could do like 16 tracks. And I'm like, man, I bought another computer. I jumped right into that. And then ADATs, of course, came out. And it was like, I was so happy to move on. Everybody thinks analog has better low end than digital, but it doesn't.
Dang.
Digital picks up more low end. It sounds like it has more low end because it has less high end. Now, it does do some interesting things. I'm not kidding. I mean, tape compression is an amazing thing. I love hitting tape hard. I'd be recording an acoustic guitar. Somebody would be plucking a classical guitar. Ding, ding, ding. I had that needle slamming.
Yeah,
you could hear that needle slamming on the tape because it sounded cool doing that. I miss that. I miss the smell of tape, but I don't miss the setup and all the other stuff. So I jumped into digital very early. All of my friends that all had, because I made friends with all these guys with big studios. I was the poor guy with the little 16 track in the basement. And I was still running negative. Oh, it's funny. I looked this up. I saw some pictures and I realized I was doing some records that people were paying a lot of attention to on a Panasonic Ramza mixer that was all -10 unbalanced. The only thing that was balanced line +4 was my microphones. Once I went in the mixer, I'm going to, it's like RCA jacks.
Right.
Right. On balance.
Right?
Yeah.
So what? But anyway, when I got into digital, a lot of people just, I get it, but it's like, man, it's like, just face reality where the world's going. Come on, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I jumped into it, and a lot of people just couldn't change. And I get it. A lot of these guys had invested tens of thousands of dollars. Like what a Studer 24 track back then would have been like $80,000, something like that. And I'm doing 32 track in my basement, a little computer. But I was kind of getting to the ego thing about pretending you don't know anything. And I felt like they were doing that with the engineering and mixing side and thinking about that. And I was like, it fucking doesn't matter. Like, yes, I like Neve consoles. I like that. But at the end of the day, is the song good? Do we have a good performance, man? Just I'll make it sound, however. Let's
be real.
Yeah, it's all
Let's
about
be
the performance.
real here.
Oh my God. And a lot of those guys took a long time to kind of catch up on that. Mm-hmm. And I was always willing. I'm just willing to go. I'll go do something crazy. I don't give a shit. But to me, that was like a thing I wanted to get into. So I was like one of the first guys to really, definitely in Atlanta, jump into that. And I got people made fun of it, and they thought it was a big joke, and it was a toy and all that. I'm like, oh, whatever, man.
Wow.
I did a bunch of records at 16-bit, you know. And then when the ADATs came out, I think they were still 16-bit. And I all my early Little John stuff was all ADATs and some of the early Yin Yang Twin stuff. And we were still mixing through my Ghost console back then. And then shortly after that, it's weird looking at the timeline. From the time I went from doing, actually my first digital recordings were in Opcode Studio, which was actually a MIDI computer sequencer for running your MIDI keyboards. And then they said, oh, you know, you can record audio here through your 1/8" jack. So I actually did that at first. Huh. From that to having my first Mix Plus Pro Tools rig, which cost me around $20,000 again.
Sheesh. Here we go.
Was like 4 years.
Okay. Yeah.
I look back on it now. It seemed like 10 years at the time, but all that happened.
Wow.
Going through all these different formats, and then as soon as they came out with that Mix Plus system, it's like I was starting to do a lot of work. I was like, I'm buying this sucker. I was like, boom, I bought that sucker. I think I had 24 inputs. I had 24 inputs because I was doing bands too and stuff like that. But it was just kind of like, get out of your comfort zone, forget you don't know anything, don't get caught up in the legacy of all this stuff. It's like, it's great, but man, the only thing that matters is what comes out of the speaker. Nobody's going to go back, well, did you use this kind of mic pre? Did you use that?
The people don't know.
All it matters what comes out of the speaker. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. That I had to come to terms with like the buying plugins, like era of that for me, because you can go buy plugins all you want and the newest thing and the Dave Pensado whatever and the this, and then you start getting into the names and engineers get a little fame and they put out a plugin, so now everybody has that, and so I had to be like, man, that's it. Up to here, that I'm gonna make it work with what I've got. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of like a parallel version of that, where you go, okay, but also jumping on to new things like podcasting. I have some people going, oh, you have a podcast? Well, isn't that saturated right now? And it's like, I don't even know how to answer that. I'm like, yes, but
yes and no, but who cares?
Who cares? Yeah. Everybody's going to find their own market for whatever it is that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And whatever it is that you put out there, you're going to create your own niche, right? You're going to create your own like market of people, your own fan base, your own people that just support you.
Right.
So it's kind of like that same thing. It's like knowing when to stop, like knowing what to invest in, but also being ahead of the curve as well.
For sure.
You know?
Speaking of plugins, I got a plugin coming out. No, I'm not kidding. I don't really get, I think sometimes people spend more time trying out new plugins than actually getting any work done.
Yeah.
I find something that works and I move. And once I get is like, the only thing I remember in the last few years, what was the thing I searched for that I really needed in a plugin? And it was when Pro Q3 came out.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was like, okay, it's better than a damn multiband compressor, mainly for working on bluegrass, because there's like these damn stand-up basses have these resonant frequencies, and it's like, oh my God, a C, which is 65 hertz on this, he hits the C on the A string, and it would jump up. You'd get like 14 dB more low end on that one note. That's how acoustic instruments are. They'll jump out. It's like, oh, I can just find. I used to have to automate all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You got a dynamic.
And then when that came out, it was 65 hertz. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Just do that, and it's like done.
Yeah.
That was the only thing in 10 years.
That's sick.
Okay. So supermassive. Okay.
Supermassive
cool.
reverb.
But I just feel like, I actually right now I'm using I have the least amount of plugins right now than I've ever had. Mm-hmm. Since in the last 20 years. Mainly because I got a new computer and I've been focusing on the YouTube channel, and a lot of them I just didn't install. But I do, I need to get some more, I guess. I don't know. But I'm trying to get by with less just to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually you can. Like even just yesterday, we were talking about the Maggie Q, and I was like, oh yeah, the Maggie Q. I haven't used that in like 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
Like not me instantiating it. Maybe somebody else has sent me something and it's on there. I know you use it a lot, but I'm like, I used to go crazy with that thing and just button crazy as well. Crazy.
I pulled it, strangely you mentioned, I pulled it up. I was like, oh yeah, that. and then it's got the air thing.
The air.
Yeah.
That's the
It's
thing.
the only thing
That's
I
the
use
thing.
it for.
Exactly.
Air, and I tried the other ones. It's like they
Well,
all seem like the wrong frequency. It's
Well,
like
the one
Yeah.
next to it, I'll use for I forget for what, but I'll use it. Actually, for beats. That's what it is. Like I'll put it on a beat track because sometimes like it's a YouTube beat somebody downloaded, and so it's just missing a lot of frequencies. There's probably some kid that doesn't know how to mix or whatever, or try. But yeah, so I just air for the beat, and then a little like more. How do I explain it? It adds that saturation, so then I can control it because if it's not there, then I'm like, damn, I don't have nothing to make this beat sound good with, and the vocals. It's all got because once you record in a studio or an 87, the 87 is gonna add so much saturation in the beat, and so then it's nothing's matching. So I'm always trying to make everything cohesive.
Well, the point is, once you find a tool, it works.
Yeah.
And it's going to get that. It's kind of like I come from a long line of carpenters and woodworkers and all that.
Nice.
And you've seen my studio. I built all that. So I've got hammers. I've got different types of hammers. I have this one hammer that's over 100 years old, belonged to my grandfather.
Wow.
It's my favorite hammer. You can go to Home Depot and buy these newer hammers, but this one's got a wood handle. And it's just balanced right. I got 10 hammers, right? Because I used to do that for a living. And I grabbed my granddad's hammer. That one works. I don't need to go buy a new one.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of plugins that are like that too. One of my favorite plugins is in Pro Tools, and it's a built-in plugin, and it's called Lo-Fi. It's the old Lo-Fi, legacy one. And I only turn one knob. I don't touch anything else. And this is the funniest thing. There's you can buy all these plugins. Just put it on Lo-Fi, and that bottom left knob that says, I don't touch the saturation. It's just the distortion.
Oh, my bad. The distortion.
Yeah, on the left. And you just turn it up. And I never turn it past one.
The saturation is too noisy.
Yeah, and it softens it up. But and I don't know why they call it distortion because it sounds more like saturation than the saturation, but not.
That's why I think of it as
it
saturation.
It does a lot of things that tape compression does. I use it on a lot of things. If I just it's one of those things. It's not about EQ. It's like I just need it to have more oomph.
Yeah.
I just put it on there and turn it up 0.1. 0.2.
A little
Boom,
razzle dazzle.
done.
You're
And
done.
it's nothing fancy.
Like 0.5 is too much. Almost.
Yeah, sometimes about as high as I go, and it's
Yeah.
just like this magic thing. I've used it on acoustic guitars, electric
fire.
guitars. Almost always use it on vocals for rock and stuff like that. It's like I do all my other processing. I have other plugins, compressors, and I stick that on, and then put a de-esser after it because it's gonna do something with that. And it's just like it's like somebody slammed some tape,
You're done.
and it's like God dang, I don't even have to automate it so much. But same thing like in Ableton.
Yeah.
I love working in Ableton.
Yeah.
Most common plugin I use in there is the EQ8.
Yeah, the Q8 guy.
It's just the built-in plugin.
It's so good.
It just works, man. It's like I don't need, I use that, and then I liked actually their compressor a lot. And strangely enough, the plugin I probably use more than anything is their utility plugin
Yeah.
for automating volumes.
Yeah.
Because if you automate the channel, then the damn fader's stuck. So I stick the utility as the last thing on there, and I just automate with that. But I use it for a bunch of other things. Sometimes like there's this wood thing in there. It's fun, like the utility plugin. That's like my most used plugin.
Yeah, it's hard.
I use it on everything.
It's hard.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But it's just like you could get. So Universal Audio gave me all their plugins like a year ago. I
Dang.
got all of
Nice.
them. And I still have to go through them. I'm like, it's just, you start looking through them like, oh, there's too many of them on there.
There's like 158 of them.
Yeah, and like a lot of them are cool. I like that Shadow Hills one. I actually paid for that one. And
That one's good.
But there's all these compressors. What else do I use in there? Actually, their Marshall amp model is really freaking cool, even though I got amps, but sometimes I just want to use that. But it's funny, I actually haven't gone through and experimented with a bunch of them. Well, actually, I use that Helios.
Oh, yeah, the EQ?
Just for mid-range.
And that's crazy. That's like the free one. They
Well, they have,
have all of-
they have the paid one, and I got that.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's right.
I use the free one. I don't know why.
You
I
like
like the
the-
sound of it
yeah,
better.
same.
Just for mid-range, bass guitar.
Wow.
That's how I am with the Teletronics combination pack that they got. I got the collection at some point, and sometimes I really like the free one, like the one that says Legacy on it.
Yeah. Yeah. The
But I
legacy
really
ones.
like the silver, but I really like the Legacy one.
Yeah.
For certain things. This is almost just like cheapens things in a way that I like.
I've tried
More
all
real.
of those, but I keep going back to the CLA 1176.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
because they sound ridiculous. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? They just sound like
the pumping on it is.
he made that like it's funny you put it on there's like, oh, he made this to like automatically like, it's not like you bring up the other ones and like, okay, now go ahead and adjust it. It kind of comes as like, oh wait, what's he doing? Oh, I got to dial back some stuff. I guess I like that, but I kind of use those all the time. It's but and then there's this other aspect. I guess I need to get the Universal Audio native plugins. I'm still using like the processing on the interface, so it's like they hog processing, and I'm like, too much process. Let me just grab something else. I'm working right now. I don't have time to freeze a bunch of stuff. I'm just all focused about moving quickly, especially I got people there. I don't want to spend too much time experimenting. I'll just use whatever. I'll use a Pro Tools EQ or something.
I'll give you a crazy one that I think you might have fun with, and I'm about to. I've only told a few people this because it's almost like I almost never use it, but Autotune, where they have like a massive pack of stuff that when you get their unlimited thingy, and they have their Autotune vocal EQ. And so, exactly, right? They have an EQ, and then at first you look at it, and it's like just way too many buttons, for an EQ.
So is it made to go, is it built into Autotune, or is it just kind of made to go with Autotune?
No, okay, it's both. Like, so it's made to be an EQ, so you could just use it as you want, similar to the Pro Q, or, remember that, what is it, that F6 that Waves has? It kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
What it does, though, is you could lock it to the key that you're using if you're using Autotune. So you can lock it to the key in the same way. Set the the tone that you want, like soprano, alto. I think it does that too, or it detects it for you, something like that. But the nastiest thing is that whatever EQ you set there, they have like essentially notes. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you could set that frequency, and that'll be 1, right? So usually down there in like 250.
It's like a band.
It's like a band, but what it'll do is it'll track with the melody. So if the singer is singing that note, when they go up to the next note or whatever it is, that dip that you made will follow with the melody. And so that, because the auto-tune is tracking.
Is that kind of like Surfer EQ?
I haven't used Surfer EQ.
It's similar.
I could never figure that one out.
It's similar, but yeah, exactly. This is a little bit more intuitive.
Yeah, especially because of the octave. So how you were saying earlier about the fab filter, you can do the dynamic EQing, right? So it just really does the thing for you. But like an octave down, but if the same thing happens an octave up, like that fab filter doesn't move. Right, but in this booth, for example, I do have the same, a note in there that's like bugging me 1 octave down, and so when the singer sings up, an octave up, I'll have the same problem in that booth, an octave up. But so that's what I'm saying. The auto-tune will follow the melody.
Interesting.
And so you see these things doing this the whole time, and it just follows to the key of the song. And so therefore, because if that's the problem, if 250 is the problem in that booth, then it'll also do it at 500. And so
most booths are going to have like some low mid range, kind of stuff like that. That's why I don't like booths so much.
Yeah,
I always thought I like recording in vocals in bigger rooms. That's why I do it in my control room with me. I mean, I got a booth and it's not bad, but I just usually have the singer next to me and we put on headphones.
Right,
so at least a little bit bigger room
and the connection is a little bit more there, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the magic of the other room here too. But usually rappers like to sit next to you.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely better that way.
When you were doing all the Bone Crusher stuff, was that out of your studio?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
All out of my basement studio.
That's the zone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did, I figured, I realized at some point that I've spent most of my life sitting in a basement.
At this point?
I've worked in bigger studios and I've traveled all over, but most of my work and most of my big records that I mixed and all that were all done in that basement. And now I'm starting to do more stuff out at this place where I'm at now. But yeah, I did a bunch of that stuff in my home studio. It tripped. It was kind of funny. It was like I had like record label presidents and people like that come to my basement, which is like I never thought would happen. I was like, God, if I vacuumed the floors. I was like,
just had a candle out here.
Is the couch weird? But yeah, I did the vast majority of my work that people know about. I did there.
Wow.
And you had another studio before the Zone?
I had one. actually not far from there with a guy I knew that was in a band, and it was like the first zone. But it was a short amount of time, and that's where I did the work with Mr. Crow's Garden that became Black Crows. I actually did some work with the swimming pool cues there, who are they're funny. They're kind of still together. They're older than me, but they're what was called a new wave group. And in the new wave scene, they're considered legendary. People still talk about them. I think they're on DB Records. They were signed to CBS, which became Sony. But I was doing stuff with them on an 8-track back then. But yeah, and then before that, I was like in my parents' basement, and that was in a basement too. So yeah, I think that's why the guys in Heavy Mojo named me Dungeon Master, because I'm always like in a basement. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's a glorious career. I'm in a basement, but hey, I got my my espresso machine upstairs, and
I get to see the sun every now and then.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. Major studios are kind of weird, man. I don't know. They always seem like professional. I don't want to be professional. I just make demos. I've been making demos my whole life. Fuck making a record, man. I want to make demos. Are fun. Yeah. In the old days, you make a demo, and we're going to go redo it for real. And then everybody keeps going back, why does that sound better? Because that was the fun.
It was real.
So I years ago said, I'm never doing a demo again. The demo
is done.
If I'm working with a client, they're like, I'm going to make a demo. It's like, please don't do it like on your DAW. Don't do any work on there.
Yeah.
Do it on your cell phone. Keep it raw. The worse it sounds, the better. As long as I can hear, I don't want it to be too good. I want that first moment. It's like getting laid for the first time. You know what I'm saying? First time you have sex with some chick. Can we talk about that on here?
Yeah. Do whatever you want.
Go crazy.
You know what I'm talking about?
As long as my mom doesn't see this.
But there's something to it. So I years ago started thinking more in terms of like, I'm just doing demos. I make sure everybody's in tune. Make sure I got a good signal. Make sure nothing's too far. Because I can fix almost anything. As long as we're in tune, I got the right tempo, let's just have fun and think of it as a demo. And it's a DAW. You can always go back and redo the damn vocals. But even if we're laying down rough ideas, like I'll give you good examples like this Rehab record we're working on. We started there's a live drummer who's freaking amazing. And so this guy, Josh, I forget his last name now. He's told me 10 times and I always forget. He's from Nashville. He comes down, but I knew he was going to come in, but I needed to get some work done. So let's put up a drum machine. Boom, check, boom, boom, check, whatever. Hi-hat, boom. Okay, we got a beat. We start laying down parts, and then later on, we'll put the live drums on. If you got the right kind of drummer, you can do that. But I never get, the demo never really goes away. And it was actually something that I learned from Hall & Oates. So Hall & Oates, from the 80s and all that, they had home studios and wasn't digital, but they would do a similar thing. They would send tapes back. They had some sort of, I forget what I don't know, it was cassette 8-track or they had one of those Akai 12-track things. They would send stuff back and forth. And when they go into the studio to finish a record, they would just transfer that all to the 24-track and then add on and remove things. And I thought, because they're like, you don't want to get away from the demo. I was like,
nice.
Oh. So I've always think of things that way. And in my mind, I never think of this is the thing, it's the thing. You get all nervous, but it's like, we're just screwing around. Just having fun in the basement, you know? And that's, to me, again, that's something I learned from rap music, because those guys always, I never thought anybody was being too serious. Everybody was just kind of
enjoying.
having fun. Yeah.
Do you think, sorry, do you think half of that is though, you did just mention rap, so you almost killed my question, but do you think half of it is working with talented people though? To be able to take, I'm not going to call it a risk, but to have I would almost want to say leisure, of being able to go, the demo's going to be great because I know you're going to make sure you do your part to make it great, but if the talent's not good enough.
Well, I never tell the client that. I never let anybody know that. Of course, now I'm saying it to everybody, but I don't care anymore. But I don't say it but it's in my mind.
Okay.
But anyway, go on with your.
Well, I guess, I imagine, but to make that a possibility, does the talent have to be good enough?
It helps.
It helps. Because I feel like that's my concern. Sometimes people aren't good enough.
In a weird way, sometimes if somebody's not super talented, it being very relaxed and fun makes it easier for them.
Okay.
Because they're not all nervous,
Right.
you know. But sometimes that's kind of cool. But but everybody's different. I mean, everybody. I kind of look at every client, every artist. Everybody to me is like every project they're working on is a unique thing, and I have a lot of conversations. I want to know where they come from, I want to know their history, and I want to kind of know what they're thinking and all that kind of stuff. Because especially nowadays, in the old days, every client I had was either doing one of two things. They were either making demos to go get gigs at bars. So I'd have bands that would come in and do cover songs, which seems crazy, but to prove, I guess they could play cover songs. Everybody else was trying to get a record deal, unless like some of the people had like these Jewish people I work for. They had a specific market, was through their synagogues and stuff like that. But everybody else was trying to get a record deal in some way. Oh, we're going to get some college radio, or these are actually demos. They spent a lot of money on these demos because how else would you let anybody know to take to a record label and maybe get a deal? That was this mindset, so you never had to question. Nowadays, you got to find out why somebody's doing something. Are you? Yeah. You know, like with the String Dusters, they do get radio airplay and they do chart on Billboard, but they're not like those kind of. They have a massive. They tour all the time and they sell records, but the records are people. They sell vinyl and people buy the vinyl and all that, but it's more like the records are, you know, obviously more material for their live shows, but they kind of market their tours around the record. And they'll have merch that's marketed with that. So it's not like, oh, we're competing for the radio. We can make it sound the way they want to. Some people are doing records. They have a very niche audience, and it's going to be on YouTube or something like that. I mean, sometimes somebody comes in. I mean, you guys are doing more pop stuff. So you probably work with people like, we are trying to compete on the radio. Yeah. Almost everybody I work with now is just kind of doing their own thing. You know, like where they got some sort of following online or something like that, or they got an audience. And like a lot of these groups do really well, but they're not playing that game. They all kind of have a different angle that they're coming from it. And some of them, and it's also kind of like thinking about genres and the way the record sounds. Like with the Dusters, we can only go so far in the way it sounds because of their audience. If it were up to a couple guys in that band, we'd have loops in the songs. But it doesn't really go with what they're doing. We've talked about doing some side projects, but that's fine. I mean, it's a traditional music, and there's a certain amount of honor you have to do there.
That's right.
But with like Danny, it's like from Rehab, it's like shit. Well, one sounds like Paris, Texas. I don't know if you're familiar with that group. Oh, you should check them out. It's pretty raw punk rap, weird shit. Kind of terrible, but genius. It's like I don't know how to describe it. And then some of it's like beautiful, like what we did on Graffiti the World, the acoustic guitars. It can be whatever, man. It's one song sounds more like old school hip hop. It doesn't matter.
That's so cool.
Danny's got fans that love him. Yeah. They just want him, like, just do your thing. So it's kind of, there's a lot of freedom there. So when I'm working with people, I have to go into a lot of depth about like what is it that you're trying to go for.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
When you were saying that you don't work with people that are like, oh, this is, or when you're saying like the rappers, I think from like the Bone Crushers and the Lil Jons, they're like, they weren't saying like, yo, this is the thing. Like, what is that thing? What do you mean? What did you mean by that?
Well, first off, your mic's off axis here.
Oh, okay.
You'll get a better tone if you're straight into it.
There we go. We're back.
Just thought you should know. Anyway. Sorry, it was bugging me. Your mic was crooked.
Yeah, dude, learn how to use a microphone.
Come on, man.
It's just that my low end is so crazy. That
See, doesn't that sound better than this here? Talk.
Yeah, mic check. Yeah.
Oh,
now
better low end there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I swear,
that was
dude.
Bugging me.
Every time, man.
God. Anyway, what was the
I
question
stopped
again?
engineering back in 2021.
But I'm trying to understand your question.
No, you were saying like, oh, this is the thing. Like, oh, this is the thing. Like, did you mean that they weren't so into like, oh, we just created a smash, like those kind of guys?
I mean, okay, two things. First off, there was so much going on in my life back then. Everything was moving so quickly. I was also hanging around with a lot of guys, like I liked them, but I didn't always know what was going on. It took me like 2 years to figure out that the Yin Yang Twins can actually speak perfectly proper English.
Clear,
okay.
I didn't know they were fucking with me the whole damn time. Like, hey, sure. And I looked at Carly Park like, what are they saying? He's like, it's all right. They just think you're funny. And then later on, he's like, these guys can speak perfectly. They're just fucking with me, man.
The whole time.
Oh my God, it was so funny. But it was also like, God, we just worked all the time. I will say, here's the thing. I remember Little John. Little John, we'd done that Full Contact Sports compilation. He'd come in on a couple things, and then he hired me to work on some. Actually, we're going to work on my stuff. So he was like producing people. He was getting hired for production. Some people from So Def, and then he was in between working on his own stuff, which became, I forget which album that is. I get them all mixed up. Might have been the one where he's got the waiters on Put Your Hood Up or something like that. I don't know. And but he was still unsure of me. He liked what I did, but he said, "Oh, we did these vocals at Too Short Studio. We stacked them, and they're huge." And he played me this DAT, which is what we mixed down to. And it's like, oh, okay, it's all right. I can blow that shit away. Come on. But I didn't say that. I was like, okay. And says, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I got this idea. Just trust me here. So they would do these chants. So they'd be him and the East Side Boys, and they'd go there and chant. So they're 3 guys on a mic. They do it 4 times. They thought I was done. I was like, hold on. So I bounced that down to a couple things on the ADAT. And then I had them do it again, but I took because I had a master clock on Pro Tools, and I could speed it up so that it would play faster. So when you play it back, the pitch is lower. Not the same as doing it on tape. It's not the same, but it does give it this deeper sound. So I did that, and they're like, what's this guy doing, you know? Then I did the opposite. I had them do a bunch of those stacks, and I slowed it down so when the playback goes higher, so their voices are higher. And they thought I was just crazy. They never seen anything like that.
Yeah,
and I was going to do more, and finally Little John was like, okay, hold on. And it sounded huge, but he couldn't believe his ears. He's like, put on that Too Short thing again. I want to make sure it sounds as good as that. I put it on, and literally it played for like 2 seconds. Like, turn that off. Keep doing what you're doing. And it was like, great. So on Put Your Hood Up, I think I figured it out one time. Put your hood up. There's like literally, if you count all the individual voices, because there are 3 people on every take.
Yeah.
And I would sometimes on multiple takes, okay, you stand here. I'm going to move the mic away. 120 voices.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And-
Let's
If you
go.
thought you were working, you suck.
And no cutting and pasting.
Wow.
Those on ADATs. So they had to do everyone. And they'd be in there like, like, hey, next course.
Just nobody's trying
And they'd be
at
like,
all.
And the other thing is, because there was a bit of partying going on. Oh, my God, there's some partying going on.
Oh my
Little John
God.
would have this piece of paper. And it would say, or it'd be like, be a,
Yeah.
be a.
Yeah.
So he'd hold it and he would point. And the guys go, oh my God. And it would go on. But we stacked these vocals in like hours, but they're all unique courses.
Wow.
Man, no wonder, bro. That was such an impact, bro. Like the culture shift, right there, like right there, bro. The culture
So
shift.
that's
is
why
crazy.
that's why that shit sounds like that, bro.
It's out of here, right?
Oh, yeah, we did that a bunch back then.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
It's like, oh, we stacked these vocals.
120.
How many times? So we did
Yeah.
it. We did it 4 times. Like, we're just getting started.
Which is-
Now, the funny thing
Barely
about
getting
that
started.
song is when I started doing country music in Nashville, I did a bunch of work at Blackbird, which is like this amazing
Yeah.
studio.
Huge.
And I'd go in and I'm there and there's like these country guys coming in and the artist is this country guy from South Georgia and it's like all these country guys walking in. And at that time, I had this big, huge beard, like this big beard, and I was wearing this leather cowboy hat. And everybody up there thought maybe didn't you used to work with Willie Nelson? I must look like somebody. Everybody thought
wow.
I don't know who this person is, but everybody thought I was some sort of legendary engineer guy. And I was like, I would not say anything. But everybody's setting up, and I'd want to I want to get used to the low end of the room. I'd say, hey, can we play some music? I want to kind of get used to the room, see what it sounds like. So they'd be like, cool. So they're thinking I'm putting some country music. I'd put Bia on there, and I'd be like, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
it's like, I know what the low end sounds like now.
Yeah.
And they're
Thanks.
like, what's going to? You didn't work with the Willie Nelson. No, I did not.
That is awesome.
But I don't know if that answers your question. At the time, Little John definitely, he's a very, very smart person. There's a plan. And he was definitely driving towards something, but everybody was still kind of figuring out the sound. And there was a lot of, I don't know, I just remember everybody being really open to trying things and experimenting. You know, that was the thing. Like, let's just try this. Like even all those stacked vocals, he just wanted to double check. And then after that, he's like, let's do whatever. Oh, the other thing was when I started doing those things, the idea of like somebody coming in with an MPC and just recording it down to tape, because actually we started on analog tape and went to that. But the idea of like was recorded is like, I want to EQ this shit.
Yeah.
So I'd run his kick drum and snare drum through the Avalons and EQ that stuff. And at first he's like, oh, no, no. But at a certain point he's like, oh, damn, just keep doing that. So I'm going to boost 110 hertz. I'm going to do these a lot.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I don't really boost low end that much. It's all of this punchier tone. So everybody's very open to that. They'd never really, those guys had never seen anybody do that. So I was always EQing stuff and trying different things just to see, can I eke out a little bit more like Captain Kirk, like, Scotty, I can give you 1% more power from the engines. Go for it, Scotty. That's how I feel like it. Any little more improvement I can make, I'm going to do that. I'm going to push it to that freaking limit.
Would you say your like rock music background and playing in bands is that what kind of gave you like did it give you an edge? Like
I mean, I guess so. Yeah.
When it came to dealing, because the first session I ever worked with you was Bone Crusher, right? This is almost 10 years
Bravo.
ago. Yeah, 9 years ago.
I didn't
now.
realize that you were so new. You told me years later, like that was this big deal. I figured you'd been around.
Man.
You seemed like you knew what the fuck you were doing, so I didn't know that you were like starting.
I had been with them for a year at that point, or a year at that point. But I was just really getting the trust of like, yeah, he can do it, because I am a quick learner. I come from a live music background as well, growing up in church. So I feel like I can learn anything, which now we're like editors in Premiere Pro. Like now I'm like, okay, what's a LUT? All right, cool. So now I'm editing podcasts, right? So I can learn anything. So I did pick up very quickly at Bravo, which is why I looked like I knew what I was doing, and I did well at school. But like in terms of the real deal, that's the first real deal. You walking in with Bone Crusher, I'm like, okay, there's somebody really famous in a booth right now that I grew up listening to. This is the guy that's responsible for the thing. PR walked in that day too, and I know PR from school, so I'm like, dude, what is happening today? And but yeah, my point with sharing that was that you pulled out the stressors that day, and I'm like, yo, what is a distressor? Like, I hadn't even heard of that thing. Is this compression? Is it like, because now I'm still a kid, right? So I'm like, is it an EQ? Like you only know like 3 things when you're fresh. And but I saw you handle it, and then years later when I started to understand, I'm like, oh, you understand like rock tones, right? Like heavy things, and I'm like, this makes sense why you could really handle Bone Crusher. That's the way I think about it. So I don't know if that's. Did you ever put those two together?
I mean, I never really thought about it. I was doing a session with the infamous String Dusters, the bluegrass group. It was the first album I did with them. We were in Nashville. We started the album at Echo Mountain. And it's kind of weird because I'd never done a bluegrass record in my life.
Okay, wow.
The guy
heard of that
who
place.
And they're actually closing. It's a church in downtown Nashville, and they're closing. They finally got offered too much money for it, but they had like a Neve console, great studio. And it's kind of bizarre how that whole thing happened. I was doing some country music, never done a bluegrass record. That group, their first 2 albums did really well. They were on Sugar Hill, which is a bluegrass label. Their producer and engineer and mixer was Gary Pachoza, who is a legend. Gary Pachoza recorded and mixed Nickel Creek's album that has the song Lighthouse on it. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it's a classic, legendary record, and Nickel Creek's amazing. And I had that record because I love the song Lighthouse. It makes me cry every time I hear it. The sound of the acoustic instruments, it sounds like my head's in the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
So I didn't know he'd done their records. And then I had been working with Al Capone in Memphis because of a guy who managed him, Michael Allenby at Red Light Management. And Al and I became good friends. And then Michael one day's like, I'm known for would you like to do some bluegrass? I'm like, sure, what the hell? And I'd heard that they had a name, and I met with them, and the whole thing's such a weird story. I met them sitting around a campfire because they had started to play festivals. My mom had just died from an accidental drowning, and I was supposed to go on this business trip for another business I was on, and I was just like, fucked up. My mom was like my best friend.
Of course, man.
And my dad had only died a year earlier.
Wow.
Michael, who was managing the band and was putting this festival together, he's a good friend of mine, but he's kind of an asshole. So most people were calling up and being like, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. He was like, you need to get out of that house. I'm like, man, I'm mourning. Like, you need to come up here to this festival. Like, I'm not driving to fucking Virginia. It's like, he actually bugged me about it. But then at a certain point, I was like, fuck this business trip. I don't want to go on this business trip. It's just going to be business people because we're doing this multimedia business, whatever. I actually do want to get in the van, go hear some music, sit
Yeah.
around a campfire and smoke some weed, right?
Yeah.
So I went into the house and told and this is what I love about my wife. I said, we're going to Virginia. She's like, what? I said, we're leaving tomorrow. She's like, she almost like didn't even ask why. All right. So we had little kids, put them in the van, go up there. I barely met the guys. I'd actually met him briefly at Eddie's attic like a few months earlier. Just hi, because he told me about it. Checked them out. Hey, they're good. Go up there, hang around the campfire. Then they're like, hey, we'd like to work with this guy. We go. They come through Atlanta. They're playing at the Variety Playhouse. They're like, well, let's go have a dinner. We sit down to eat, and I do my normal thing. I start talking like I'm just meeting these guys, and I'm like, hey, how would you like to make the record and all that? And the bass player just blurts out and he goes, I don't know why we bother making records. I'm like, what? And everybody at the table like, God, it's been a discussion in the group.
Yeah.
He's a guy who likes to do live music. In his opinion, all a record should be live albums. He's all into the live experience, right? Also, what I found out from that dinner is that their previous producer and mixer, engineer, was Gary Pachosa, who had done these records, and he's a legend. And I found that out at the dinner too. I'm like, oh shit!
Like, now
But they didn't like working with him. He does a great job. He's just the vibe's not the same, right? I thought there's no way I'm getting this right because I'd never done that. I'm this rap guy. I didn't even know I'm sitting at the table. I didn't even expect to get the gig. And then when I asked that question, and it all blew up, and so I started asking more questions. And then there's this fight at the table, and they're all yelling at each other. I'm like, well, I lost this damn gig.
Yeah.
And we all start
Well, that's
walking
that.
back towards the venue, and it was like quiet, and they're all like, we're going to go get in the van. We'll meet you inside. And it was very solemn, right? So they all went in the van, and they smoke and shit like that.
Wow.
So I kind of was there, and I kind of peeked out. They're like, should I stay around? Should I leave? When they came out, they were laughing. A couple of them were crying. They were hugging each other, and one of them came up to me and said, thank you. I don't know what I did. I just, me normal being, I'm asking questions based on like, I think I should ask this question. I touched on some stuff, and it led to this whole thing where the guys are like, had realizations, and it was this thing that had been pent up with them.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Wow.
but I still had to deal with the fact like Gary Pachosa did their last two records, but here's the thing. He was actually their A&R guy at the record label. So they had he knew he wasn't going to get the next record. They'd already told him that. But he's still in charge of making the record. He's the A&R guy.
Yeah.
They tell me I'm getting the gig. He's like, I got to call him up now. I'm the guy who does rap music. So we talked a little bit, and then I was up in Nashville and for something else, and I met him at a bar, and we started talking. I had actually had a friend who had videotaped their previous session with him, all the microphone settings. So I knew I had this big secret, right? And it's like, I knew, but I couldn't figure out some of the mics. Like, what is that mic? Because these are, I don't know, And so we're sitting there, and he's like being really cool. So I finally admitted to him, like, so, Johnny C. and Hours filmed to that last session at Haunted Hollow, which was Dave Matthews' personal studio that we were allowed to use. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's right. You should check that out. It's got all my microphones on it. I'm like, oh, well, then what's that one you used on the bass,
Say
right?
less.
He told me all these secrets.
Gave you the game.
Such a cool dude. Well, you take these two mics, you put them like this, and he told me all that. So I go back, I look at the video, and I realize he must be lying to me. That's not the same mic. So I call him back up. Actually, you said it was a bass, but in the video, he said, oh, well, I'm sorry. It was actually this other mic. So he told me all these secrets, right? But I still had to go into the studio and do the session. So I had all these little notes. I'm going to use these mics, but I never recorded.
That's
So
so cool.
I have a lot of confidence in myself, but I'm kind of a bad planner. So we go to Asheville. We're going to go to the studio where there's a band house. And the night before, we all had a little meeting. We get in the van, and on the way, I suddenly realized, wait, how do I pan a bluegrass record? And it's like a 3-minute drive to the studio. So I get my earbuds out, like, oh, hold on, I got to check some voice messages here. And I put it on. I go back to the last record. And I'm listening like, oh, you pan the banjo over here and the
Right.
dobro over here. They're like,
Yeah.
here we go. And that was another situation where I almost vomited. And plus, they're really great musicians, but there's a lot of, they have egos, but those are well-deserved egos.
Okay.
Like when somebody's that good, it's like, you could be a prima donna. It's all right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you gotta,
sure.
and there's some moments, but it was like, whoa. But I don't know what the damn question was. I started.
This is really good.
Oh, so anyway, it was that record. Sorry, I'm getting to something here. Somebody asked a
I'm with you.
question. I'm
I'm
getting
with
there.
you.
I know you're. We moved to Nashville to finish the record, and we're in another studio. Everybody's set up on their mics because it's all live. We do it all live, right? Usually lead singer will sing, and then he'll go back and redo his vocals, but all the music's live. Sometimes we keep the lead vocal. There was this one moment, we're doing the song, we stop, we're going to do another take, and I realize I need to go adjust the microphone on the mandolin, because they had a mandolin player back then. I need to go say something to this guy. I needed to go around and do something at each person in the band, either in a technical thing or talk to them about something. As I'm walking in, it suddenly hit me how I knew each one of those things. I know about the mic because of this. I know about this thing because of this. And I had this moment of clarity. I literally, for a split second, knew everything and why I know it. Oh, this is from this high school band, and this is from being in a cover band and all that. And then I forgot it all. Like I knew what I had to tell them. I forgot why I knew it because I was so busy. But it was like it kind of hit me like, oh, so being in that cover band actually helped. You know, I knew this from that. I think we're all that way. You gain experience, and it becomes like this library in your head, and you retrieve it, and you're not always aware that you're retrieving it. You don't even know what you know. You get to the point. Like on my live streams, I'll say things to people, and I just think it's a throwaway statement. People be like, "That was life." It
changed their lives.
Like, oh, I've just known that for 30 years, so I didn't think it's special. But it's just part of these things, these tools.
Yeah.
As you grow and you learn, what you're gathering, it's like you can look at it as like tools, or as a video game, you're attaining magical powers. I prefer to think of it as magical powers.
Yeah.
But you get all this knowledge and you do it over and over and over and over again. And it starts to mix to the point where it ceases being you copying somebody else, copying their technique, and becomes your own thing because all these different elements come together and create this new way of working. And that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, to a certain degree, it's a waste of time to try to figure out what it is. It's just kind of cool to let it happen. Just go study a bunch of stuff, keep doing it, and eventually you're going to come up with some magic.
Yeah, man, dude, that's so perfect you said that. So, man, it was the coolest thing. So Sid, which Sid is in the controls right now. Young Sid is what we call him on the podcast. Is Young Sid, and so he shows up and he goes, "Yo, I want to do with he runs a dance school with his mom." And he goes, I want to do, we talked about it a lot. We talk a lot about Sid a lot. So because he brings a lot of cool projects here. And man, it's like a live music thing that they do with dance, with colors, with music. And it's like, it's a play essentially. So, but it's like ballet level, but Carnatic. So it's Indian. And so point is, right before Sid's session, somebody goes, yo, I want to put this Mexican music with this rap music. And I'm like, okay, but this is 3/4. And this is 4/4. How are we going to do that? And he goes, I don't know. I was hoping you could figure it out. I was like, thanks, man. So then I kind of figured it out. I just kind of mashed them together, right? And drop it on the one, I think we'll be fine. We only had one session of that, though. So then in walks Sid. And Sid goes, yeah, so we have time signature changes all throughout this 1 hour and a half show. And it's like 4/4, 7/4, 8/4, 9/4, 3/4.
Wow.
Like it's like, and then all within it because the drummer has a solo and he switches in between time signatures for like 5 minutes straight. And so does the singer, and so does the dancer, and so does it's like an incredible production. And this goes on for an hour and a half, right? All these different changes. And I go, nice. Now I know how to change between time signatures. So then the next week when I walk in with the Mexican band, I go, I know exactly how I'm gonna work. Not only that, like how to use the program the right way because I didn't know. I didn't really know. I'm like, how do I because I know how to automate tempo in Pro Tools, but how do I set time signature changes for it to work correctly? Because then if you cut out like a bar of time, like how does that gonna affect the rest of the timeline? Like I didn't know.
Or
Pro
add,
Tools.
right?
Or add.
You guys were like, oh yeah, we forgot this one 7/8 in the middle of these other 5/8 and 3/4.
Yeah, and then not to mention the areas where it's just like there is no time. It's just free singing. Because it's also creative in that aspect. Like, it's just unbelievable. And, like, the music is incredible. But everything does 100%, like, work for the next thing. And you don't know why. But it just and that's my example of, like, it happening within, like, a week. The next week, the Indian thing. And then the next week, we went back to the Mexican thing. And it's a banger. It's a banger now because I'm, like, chopping it together. And it's, like, super fun, man.
How did you, like, were you programming drums or some of these times? Or like what were...
With which part?
Like with all the time signature changes? What?
All live instrumentation.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a pre-production that Sid walked in with his Ableton session and exported click tracks for me. And so like...
So the click tracks are changing time signatures.
Exactly. So it's like, so for this set of 10 bars, and this is like the rough draft too though. The click tracks are also the rough draft until the musicians get in here and then they figure the last bit out. So he goes... All right, give me 20 bars of 4/4. Cool, next. Next is 3. There's like a map, so we spent, I don't know, half a day just mapping and then them also coordinating. So there was an entire day for just that. And then this music is so different that it's the vocalist that leads like everyone else. And so she knew her math and she was like, no, 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 you should have 75 bars because it's, whatever and a half here and whatever and a half there. And I was like, okay, let me highlight my little Pro Tools and just because I can't, like, just, they're, Indian people's math be
Well,
pretty good.
I was talking to Sid at the
Plug and play? No.
no, it was the fundraiser or the
Yeah, Cinco Pistas are really
Launch.
when you guys
launch,
the launch.
December. Yeah.
So I knew, and we started talking about drums, and I brought up tablas. Oh, Indian music, tablas, and then he goes
Yeah.
deep, and it's like deep on this cultural level, and
Yeah.
all these things and these keys and all that. And it, I don't remember half of what he said. It got so deep, I just
Right.
knew this is deep. And but it was another way of thinking about
I
music.
high?
I'm still thinking about it, and I'm like, at some point, I was like, man, I should bring over a live stream and explain all this stuff. It's like
Yeah, you got to, man.
it's another level of
So good.
music that we don't in the West think about because they got notes we don't use and
Yeah.
oh man, it's deep. It's like when people go, oh, we only have 12 notes.
Yeah.
We could probably
Yeah,
use a
dude.
few more and things like that, you
Yeah.
know. But they have all this other stuff, and it just kind of really blew my mind. It's funny, I never knew anything about that stuff, but I mean, whoever-
Man, it's really crazy. So I've worked with Sid on this type of stuff in the live scenario, just like kind of mixing live, making sure the instruments sound good. It's only like six inputs, that's it. So it's been simple, but I've always watched it and never like music theory understood it. Like I internalized it. I never really completely knew what was going on. I just know they're chanting, that dancer's dancing to the chanting. Like that makes sense. The art's nice. But then sitting with a producer, which Sid kind of executive producing the whole thing, and then the singer was composing. But she after it took me 5 days to finally understand what was really happening inside of these time signatures, like why they're choosing the beats they're choosing and why that change. Because the hardest part is breaking that 4/4 mentality. And because things would go for a three section situation, but like I don't know, a section could be 2 bars or 4. It's kind of like when you're working with trap music and it's in double time, and so people be like, "Yo, mute that 1 bar," and it's like,
Yeah.
but you gotta know that means 2 inside of the program. It's not 1 bar. It's one, for phrase or measure, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so it took me 5 days. It took me 5 days to finally figure it out. I go, "Oh, y'all are geniuses! Like this is." All right, thank you so much. I gotta go. Like, let me go back to my little 4/4 reggaeton.
It's not the same thing because that's way more complicated. But when I was working on rap and hip hop in the early days, I was starting to figure out what was going on, but I could never quite get like the pocket, what they meant by pocket or what, I mean, I knew what pocket meant, but how they felt it. And from my background, like I was in a lot of heavy metal, like early heavy metal, early hard rock, but also progressive music and stuff like that, like Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And there's this one day, we're all listening back to a playback and everybody's nodding their heads. When white guys that play rock music nod their head goes forward on the downbeat. 1, 2, 3. I look around, all those guys, their head goes back. They go 1, 2, 3. And it suddenly hit me.
This is important.
It changes everything. It's actually because
This is so important.
it's like the way the head moves. And it also, when you move your head back, I don't know what it is. You're always slightly behind the beat.
Yeah,
It's a physical thing, but it's a swing. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, bing. I was like, I need to start moving my head backwards.
It
But
feels.
yeah. Because I was always rushing. And now I finally figured out how to play in the pocket. But that was like a moment for me, like,
Whoa.
oh, wow.
That's very aware.
Like where you feel the beat or where you think things
Yeah.
lay. And another thing that's kind of just from Danny Boone from Rehab, we streamed for 7 days, and on the last night, it was late, and before I shut the stream down, I had some of the guys on camera, and I was asking them, I've known them for 20 years or over 20 years, never asking these questions, like, how do you come up with your rhymes and raps and all that? And he said something really interesting. He said, I focus on consonants and syllables,
Syllabants.
syllables, whatever.
Syllables.
More than the rhyming. He said, like, God, what was it? I can't think about it. I'm terrible at this stuff. But he would think, like, words where there's like a negative, where you have a in
Yeah,
a
there's
word,
a
right?
pattern to it.
And he started giving examples, and it's like the sounds. There's these sounds in the words, and not that the word rhymes. And he picks these sounds, and he was like, and he likes the word hullaboo. I can't realize what were the other words, hullaboo. There are other things, but he said you can make things sound like they rhyme. But he's listening to it this whole other way, and it just was like,
Yeah, it's like Eminem mentality. Yeah.
Yo, you just stole it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
yeah, like taking these sounds and like using these sounds. And I've heard it my whole life, but never had he actually explain it to me. I'm just listening for the rhymes, and I can't figure it out because sometimes you hear a song, it flows, but it doesn't rhyme, and I couldn't figure it out. And as soon as he's like, duh, he's like taking these things, but it's also it's how you are used, like what points in the music are you listening to, the things that you're focusing on and stuff like that. And that, I don't know, it just blew my mind. But I think different genres have those things, and the listeners are listening for these things.
Yeah.
Like when I got into rap music, I couldn't tell the difference between a good rapper and a bad rapper.
That makes sense.
I thought the good rapper was the guy that was on beat. He'd be
Makes
like
sense.
that. And everybody would be like, And then the guy Pooh Bear, he'd get on there, he'd be like, good. He'd be off beat, and he's spitting on the mic and all that. People are like, oh my God. I'm like, this guy sucks.
Yeah, that's
I can't even understand what he's saying.
that was Young Thug for me for sure.
But
Yeah.
it was just like eventually I
At
figured,
first.
there's a feel there, so they're listening to it a different way. I came from a background of like, things are technically this technical,
Yeah.
this musician.
yeah.
played all
Your
this
head is down on the one, not up.
yeah, and but there's about this technical proficiency, whereas that stuff was about feel. And
Yeah.
it's funny because when I got into rap music, everybody felt they're using those guys that didn't like it thought that it lacked feeling. Because they just see they have drum machines and program music, therefore it doesn't have feeling. I learned more from feeling from doing rap music than anything.
100%.
Which is not what I expected.
100%. Yeah, man.
That's when I was coming up in the all of the R&B wave of the 2010s and on. It was teens. Is that what it is? 2010s?
Teens.
Yeah,
I
it's
just made
like
that up right now.
it's like it was very much like that. Like lay back the vocals. Like everything is laying back, lay it back. Because when you're, I'm assuming the performers in the booth, they're always kind of like ahead of the beat a little bit. So the producers are always like, "Yo, lay back the vocals." But then towards the end of the 2010s, when I started doing all the rap stuff with like Future and Young Thug and all of those guys, they were more like pushing it up.
Yeah,
And pushing
early
it
on
up.
top.
They're on top of the beat.
Yeah.
And that's only here in this region, in the South. Because if you listen to all the West Coast stuff now, they're really, really laid back.
Right.
Well, they're all over the place. They're like on top of the beat, behind it, everywhere. But yeah, that's really interesting to hear how everybody preferred the laid back sound and the nodding,
Yeah,
or
that's
like
really good, man.
the your head. But these days it's like changed. It's really changed to like this whole like just being on top of the beat.
Yeah. Well, everything's different now. There's no central genres anymore. Like back when I was doing a lot of major label work, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you had specific radio formats. You had, rap or urban. Then you had this thing called rhythmic, which was kind of urban, kind of pop. Then you'd have multiple rock formats. You had rock,
Alternative.
active rock, or whatever, man. And there's these very specific guidelines, and you needed to fit into one of those. But nowadays, it's like
internet.
whatever, which I like. I don't like
Yeah.
being restricted. I feel like it can be whatever. Like as long as it's cool, it can be whatever.
Yeah, I think with the internet, something I was a high school teacher for 2 years, like art teacher, when I was at Bravo actually,
Oh wow.
and I was I kind of taught a little bit of music production, just a little bit I could add to it, but even just recording a podcast, like just record something, kids, whatever. It was really cool, but I realized something because that school was a private school and they had so many different walks of life as far as the kids were. So it's like kids from here, a kid from Australia was there, there's a kid that was Mexican, like it's like they're all different. There was like 5 different kids and they're all sitting inside of a room and all listen to Juice WRLD because they would actually come to the studio. I'd pick them up on a little bus and everything, but they would all listen to Juice WRLD together, and I'd be like, yo, these are all the same kid, like regardless of their background. So I do think in the past, before the internet, there was this thing that then lingered. It's regional, right? Like, are you from here or are you from there? Are you from the west or are you from the east? Are you, are you black or are you white or are you Latino or are you like all these kind of separations? But now with the internet, man, like everyone's the same thing, and it's just what side of the internet you land.
Well, maybe. Here's one thing about the old days. In the old days, even if you didn't like country music, you would somehow know who the biggest country music star was.
Okay.
And you would know probably what they sounded like or when their songs, because there's only so many, like, how did you hear music? On the radio.
On the radio, right.
And there'd be like, MTV, and you might have like, there's VH1, and then we had BET. That was it,
Mm-hmm.
And so you could own, music was ubiquitous, meaning like everybody's hearing the same thing. And there were these formats. So so back in the 80s and 90s, one of the ways I, made money was I had the studio, but I would do remodeling or paint a house or hang wallpaper, whatever. I could do electrical work. I can do anything. So I had all these clients. I might go to somebody's house and paint their living room, or maybe they want me to rebuild some cabinets, or sometimes they just have a list. I want you to caulk the tub, then repair the deck, and then put a sealant on my garage floor, whatever. It's always in people's homes. I always like to go look at their stereos. Most people's homes, they go into and they had just country music or just rock music or pop. You'd see their CDs or their records. And it was funny. Like, people listened. We were all kind of like, I listened to one station. We were like defined.
That's
and we
right.
listened to one style of music.
95.5 the beat.
But you would still know what was going on because it was just like you knew all the other music. Now there was a lot more going on you didn't know about, but they just didn't have record deals. Nowadays, there's so much going on that we don't know about. Mm-hmm. And I figured this out because I made a video a few months ago called the real reason why music's all starting to sound the same.
I saw one, yeah.
And it's like
algorithms and whatnot.
It's some old man yelling at the cloud crap.
This is a cool update.
I actually, in the video, I was talking about production techniques, like people using autotune and cutting and pasting, and I kind of go through all these techniques. It's like and that video's got like 1 million views or somewhere around there, and I got slammed. You old man, you just say that because you're not listening to this music. There's lots of good music out there. Check out this group. And at first I was like, whoa. Because I went from like 10,000 subscribers, and then I did a video about the mixer, and things started ticking. And that one was like, I'm still getting a lot of views and comments.
Press the wrong buttons.
I just had so many people slam me. Well, you should go listen to this. So I was like, once again, I'm going to pretend I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So I went and started listening to these groups, and I had my wife Kit start making a spreadsheet, which is now about 700 artists and bands, different ones that have been referred.
Holy moly!
I start listening to them, and it's like, who's this guy Ren Gill? You ever heard of Ren?
No.
Go check out Ren.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
This guy that raps and plays guitar and sings, and he'll blow your fucking mind.
Yeah, okay.
And he caught Lyme disease, and there's this whole thing in his story about him getting sick and thinking he lost his record deal over that, and it's a whole thing.
Sheesh.
I don't even know what it is he's doing, right?
Well, he won't need a record deal no more.
He's amazing. And then other people are like, oh, you should listen to Electric Callboy. I'm like, Electric? Well, it's like these German goofy guys. It's weird. Part of their song will sound like scream metal. And they're great. It's like, yeah! And then the chorus will be like a boy band. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? That's cool. And then it's like,
That right there reminds me of the two guys down in Argentina, the Paco Amoroso. And
right. It reminds me of that, yeah.
Yeah, there's these guys in Argentina. You got to check those guys out.
You got a new guy.
Pretty much like that.
I found out about the band The Warning. You ever heard about The Warning? Mm-hmm. Oh, come on, man.
No. That's right. That's why we brought you on, man.
Three sisters from Mexico. That was the one that it was like 100 comments.
How might have seen that?
They started making YouTube videos and they're little kids, and they're so small that the bass is bigger than her.
I've seen
and
this.
they weren't that good, but they're good now. And at first it's like, whatever. And at first, I'm watching the concerts thinking, like, I heard the records, like, they're good.
Okay.
But they're like, the way people make rock records, they're very sterile to me. They're great sounding. They're easy. He's like, David Bendeth, I did some of that stuff, and he's a great producer, but it just all sounds like, I went and listened to their live stuff. It's like, oh, fuck, this is like rock and roll I used to listen to back in the days. And these three beautiful girls, and they're, I think one of them still 19, touring the world. Playing their best videos are like they play the Coca-Cola amphitheater in LA or something like that, sold out tens of thousands of people. It's like, never heard of them, though. So I heard about them. Then there's another group out of Mexico called Descartes Acant, and they're like they've been around a long time, but it's like indie rock. And they got this new album out. When there's this whole concept behind it, like there's this computer that'll help you find happiness, and it's like I love that. It got stuck in my head. There's so much good music out there that you don't know about. Or even like, do you know anything about these Japanese female heavy metal bands?
Yeah. So
baby metal? You ever heard of baby metal?
Actually, because you were talking about it, so that's what I've been seeing.
Is that the genre? The genre is called baby metal?
No, it's a band.
Oh, okay.
They literally sell out, like they sold out Wembley Stadium.
Damn.
We don't know about them.
Yeah. No.
Now, I wouldn't say they're necessarily doing anything innovative because it's heavy metal, like we've heard. But there's them, and then what's the other one I like? God, it just went out of my head. There's so many of them. I did a bit, and so I do videos and I talk about these bands, and then I'll get you still don't, they suck. You should listen to this. There's so much really amazing music out there. You have to go break out of your thing.
Yeah,
and on the radio here, these groups are killing it. And then like my kids who are into games, I think of game music. I'm thinking like, boop, 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 right?
Yeah.
So my kid gets me in the car and he's playing. Oh my God! Music from the anime, The Abyss. Oh, I always get it wrong. The Abyss, Into the Abyss, Edge of the Abyss. Oh God!
This is where Sid would come in, but he didn't want a microphone today.
But you know what it is? Lost in the Abyss, Into the Abyss. I can't remember. But the composer just went out of my head. Oh my God! He's from Australia. He's actually from New Zealand, moved to Australia. The music. So anyway, one of my kids, we get in the car. They're playing me the music, and it was like the most beautiful thing I'd heard in my life. The singer is from Iceland, so it's like one of those Icelandic kind of, kind of like, but they sing like in this made-up language, and they sing in English, and I'm like, I hear it, and it's a song called Gravity, and it's one of the most amazing. Kevin Penkin is the composer,
cool,
and he does it with real orchestra. So he'll go to fly to London and use a freaking Philharmonic.
Wow.
My kids are terrific. And so it's like that's for an anime, but they'll play me game music, and I'm like, Made in Abyss, amazing, incredible. Do you have the CDs?
No, I don't.
My kid bought me all 3 CDs, and we listened to that. We went on a road trip, spent the whole trip listening to this stuff.
Nice.
And it's just like, what is this? And it'll be like movie score music, but then it goes into this weird electronica stuff, and then it goes into this other stuff, it's like classical guitars, and then it's like whatever, man.
Oof.
There's so much great music out there right now. And then the other thing that happened to me, and not to go on too long about this, but on one of my live streams, I was trying to just do 2 hours. And my wife's over there, we got work to do. Hey, we're getting up against 2 hours. And I said something. Oh, somebody asked me a question. I have these little brass cymbals. There's these little teeny cymbals. They're thick as hell. And they go like that. And you boom. And I found some in the store, and I found the 2 that I like together. So I showed it on the live stream. People are like, oh, you should sample that. I'm like, I got to end the stream. And they're like, yeah, but you have a microphone right there. Goddamn, you're right. So I recorded it. Spent the next 2 hours recording weird shit around the studio just for fun. So that stream went on for 4 hours. Some point during that, somebody said, hey, you know what you should do a live stream where you just sample stuff, and then you give them all the samples away, and you have a contest and see if people can make a song from it. It's like, shit, let's do that.
Yeah.
So the next stream, I streamed for 7 hours, and I sampled flower pots. I had a variety of springs. I actually had a spring from a garage door, the garage, big springs. I made this big metal frame, which probably could have killed me if it broken, but I stretched that fucking spring out. Took me an hour to get it straight. I was like, ah! And I mic'd down, we did stuff. I found this, when you go to the bank and you send the thing up the tube and it goes to the tube. For some reason, I have one of those. I got so much shit in my
little tube.
So I put a mic on that and started popping the end. It was like, it makes it, I was like, ooh. So we sampled that.
808.
And I had a shaker earlier in the thing where I had some BBs in a plastic shaker. Somebody said, drop the BBs down the glass tube. So I had Crystal come out, and we're trying to figure out how to do it on the live stream. It's like, okay, Crystal, I'm gonna pour the BBs in the tube, and you catch them at the end. So we're filming all this, we record it, BBs go all over the floor. I sampled all this stuff, right? It was a blast. I chopped them up to a certain degree. It was just too much. I had so many sounds on there. Gave them all away. And there's like some parts where you can hear us talking in between. I was really worried that it was going to be like a bummer, right? Okay, I'm going to get 2 or 3 submissions, but if I get at least 4 or 5, I can make a live stream out of that. Leading up to, so I'm going to give everybody 2 weeks, right? And then we're going to do the thing. 2 days before the live stream, I had 3 submissions. I'm like, And then on the day before, earlier in the day, I had like 6. And I was like, oh, cool, thank God.
Yeah, we're on.
Okay. So I didn't do anything. And I'm like,
We met the quota.
I need to get ready for the live stream tomorrow. I should probably put these in a spreadsheet and download all the songs. I get on there. There are 43 submissions.
Let's go.
Everybody waited to the last damn minute.
Yeah, of course. It's gotta be. You're sending it to Billy Hume.
Yeah, it's gotta be right.
Better be right.
God, so we were up late that night downloading them, trying to figure it out in order so we can get their screen names and talk about them. And it was amazing. Like one song I sampled, I have a brass, typical from my house. I don't know why I have a brass boat bell like you'd have on a boat. I had one.
It seems you don't know about why you have things.
I have things. I even sampled the bow and arrow. I was sampling the weirdest shit. And somebody took that boat bell. Oh, I also hit plastic trash cans for kick drums. This guy made this song. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. And he sampled that boat bell and made it on his keyboard. And it was like, other people had songs like, this is what Billy Hume sounds like in space. So it's not really music, but it's all these weird sounds. And they took some of the in-between voices of me and Kit talking. There was this one laugh that Crystal laughed one time, and everybody took that one laugh. So there were 4. It took us hours to get through it, and it was like everything from rap music to pop to weird. I don't even know how. And I felt like these weren't good samples. Like nobody's gonna be. I don't know if these are good enough for drums. People are like, they had these weird sampling techniques. Everybody chopped that shit up. It was like life-changing for me because some of them were so good. I was convinced this is some professional producer somewhere and he's just pulling my fucking leg. But I actually emailed them and talked to them. It's like, no, I live in Norway and I teach middle school kids music. I'm like, wow. You could be working with like Max Martin or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many talented people out there.
Oh my goodness.
And it was all over the place and very inspiring that people cared enough to do this.
Right.
And there were so many different people, and we couldn't actually figure out who the winner. We had to do like an extra episode to give people time to vote, you know? But the point being is that as screwed up as the world is, and the music business is, especially the music business, we're at this weird time where there's so much good music out there. It's just, even with the internet, it's kind of hard to find. There are bands out there.
It's like needle in a haystack now, right?
It's more like, I don't know what it is. It's like there's something floating in space. There's like a massive planet with 1 million years of history, and it's got legends and all this beautiful stuff in it, but it's floating out in space. You don't know it because you're in another part of space. That's how some of these groups are. Some of them are like, Amel and the Sniffers. Amel and the Sniffers. Have you heard of them?
No.
It's weird because that was another group. It's a punk group from Australia, and it's I kind of don't like the music, but then I started listening. It's like, actually, it's this chick, and she's like, sing it like this, and she's kind of rough, and everybody looks like they're high on drugs. But I actually started listening to it. I was like, actually, the compositions actually are great.
Nasty.
That's just the way they sing it. And they described their music. They said, so Amel and the Sniffers, it comes from this thing in Australia where people do some sort of inhalant drug, and they get really high for 5 minutes, and I don't know what the fuck it is. She says, it's like that time, like when you sniff so-and-so and you get really high for 5 minutes and then you got a headache for 12 minutes. That's what our music's like. And I'm like, God dang.
Wait a minute.
But they're good at what they do. And all of a sudden now I'm hearing them all the time. Like they're kind of blowing up.
Yeah, okay.
But the thing is that there's so much stuff out there if you just go look for it.
Man.
And some of them are they're doing world freaking tours and doing huge stuff. But they're doing it in their, you got like Black Midi? Might be Black.
The Black
no, not
Keys.
Black Midi. No, not
Black Coffee.
No, Black Midi. But it's more like this indie thing. It's the group from another Swedish group. It's like a jazzy, almost sound like Michael Jackson, but it's kind of. And then there's like Wolfpack.
No.
Wolfpack.
We live in Spanish, bro.
You might have heard of them. They were the group that did the album on Spotify that was 10 30-minute sections of silence.
No, actually, I have no idea.
10 30-minute sections of silence.
No, 10
after-
30-second. So 10 30-second long
Clips?
pieces of silence.
Yeah.
And they did it
In
to raise
between.
money for their tour. They're already becoming popular, and they come out of like music school in Boston or something like, or Michigan or somewhere. And they did it to raise money, and they told their fans, go to Spotify and loop the album while you sleep so we can make money. And they raised like $20,000 for it. And when Spotify found out, they freaked out and tried to not pay them.
Yeah, they
But they actually changed their policy afterwards.
They did, yeah.
But that's how they became kind of known
That's how
for
that
that.
happened, yeah.
But
Okay.
they sold out Madison Square Garden with no professional manager and no record label.
That's bananas.
And it's like live music. It's like,
That's
Rose keyboard and
incredible.
funky jazz. And there's a guy, Joe Dart plays bass. He's like become a famous
Having
bass
fun.
player. And it's like, blow your fucking
Man,
mind,
that's
right?
so cool.
Never heard of them.
Yeah.
I've
Right.
heard of them because some of my friends are into that kind of stuff. But it is out there. There's great things happening in music.
Yeah.
You just don't know about it.
Yeah, man.
I don't know about it. And I'm being told by everybody how much I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to catch up.
It's like
So
there's
wise.
so many genres out there now, and so many influences that it feels like people are starting to just grab a little bit of this and a little bit of this and just making their own thing, and then just putting it out to see if somebody grabs onto it.
Or they're taking like these Japanese heavy metal bands, which are fucking badass. And it's
Yeah.
weird to see these cute little girls playing and they're all screaming like that, but they look like they're dolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're good, but
Yeah.
they're to me, they're like revive. And Wolfpack is reviving like soul, funk, jazz. It's all very analog sounding. So yeah, some of them are blending genres, but some are taking a genre and saying, we're going to dive into this older thing and just kill
And
it.
just kill it. Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
a lot of these female rock bands. There's a lot of these female rock bands that are really good, but they're kind of taking classic rock and like let's just study them, be really good at that. So you're getting all of it, but it's all over the place, and it was good for me because I was kind of feeling like music's dead, But what and my
Right.
kids have been telling me I'm full of shit, but they tell me that all the time anyway. Apparently they were right because there is a lot of good music out there.
Yeah. This makes sense. This makes
No,
sense.
for sure.
Damn. So
Wow.
much. Okay. Next.
All right, you need to. If you got, are there any? I'm babbling here. Are there any?
No, bro, this is
specific
amazing.
things?
This is amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because now I'm curious, right? Because like, there's a lot of like, you hit so many points and they're evolving though, which is so cool. Because maybe what I heard from you, like that's where we started with this, right? Where we were like, yeah, all music's sounding the same, right? That's where we started this part of the conversation. But you're saying actually I was wrong, and now you have a whole reason why. So your things are evolving. So now I'm wondering, okay, where are you at with this AI situation? Because I'll say why. Because in this conversation, you're like you were ahead with digital. You know why you like digital because da da da, and some people hated it and they died off, and you went forward. So where are you with AI? Because it seems like a very interesting, like crossroads, like a parallel.
I'll use Chat GPT sometimes to help me with YouTube titles. Although usually it comes up with the stupidest titles. It's like, rah, rah, rah. But then like, okay, it kind of gets me to think about things differently. It gets a lot of shit wrong, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but the idea that there's these massive tech companies out there scraping our music and copying that stuff that should be illegal. And unfortunately, we live in a world where a lot of power is concentrated in a small group of corporations and billionaires and all that, and they just do what the
Right.
fucking hell they want. So
Exactly.
it ain't gonna stop
Powerful.
it. But I do look at it like this: it's gonna come out. There's gonna be people who hear AI music and like it, but they're in the grocery store and they hear a song they like and they sing along and it's all AI. And the record labels are going to get to the point where they don't sign artists anymore. They're making their own AI artists, and
Yeah.
that's going to happen too.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it
Timbaland
like
already did.
this: it's going to take a lot of jobs away, and it's going to
Yeah?
ruin things for a lot of people. But I also look at it like this: a couple things. One is I see it as kind of like another genre to deal with. It's not the same thing, but when rap music became popular, all my rock and roll friends were very threatened because suddenly that was taken over.
Of course.
And it was like, it's just another
Rock
thing.
and roll
It
is
had
no longer
not
number
really
one.
existed. It was not actually a popular format. You had pop and country and rock, and that's kind of it. And now there's rap and urban. And I guess you had R&B too.
Took over the world.
And it did. A lot of people felt threatened. And then another thing was like when drum machines came out.
Okay.
Everybody was scared, and a lot of drummers did lose work over that kind of stuff. But the weird thing is now is like I know a lot of drummers that make their living drumming, like touring and doing studio work, and people are asking for live drums, which is why I added 12 more mic lines up to my living room. Things evolve. It's just another thing to compete with, and eventually people figure out like drum machines are cool, but there is something about having a good drummer. I feel like with AI, it'll be like another genre we have to deal with, and you're just going to have to find another way to work around in the business. I figure it'll probably take away a lot of mixing work and a lot of other things. I don't like that. But the other thing is, I mean, I guess eventually they'll have AI people online. They can make people look real, so like you may not know. I guess they can do a concert too, and with holograms. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's still going to kind of like AI is copying humans. 100%. So they're not going to do it any better than you. They can do it faster.
It still has to be programmed by a human.
Well, to a certain degree. I was actually, strangely enough, listening to an AI podcast today because it's like, I better learn more about this shit. So they're talking about that. And there's they just came out with it was ChatGPT, and they got this thing called the agent. You have an agent. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and it combines
I need that.
It combines ChatGPT, Operator, and what was the other one? And then it basically has its own computer, and it can store files and have a history with you and all that. But and so a lot of it's kind of designed towards businesses. But anyway, point being, it's going to come out with bands and artists and stuff, and I'll tell you, AI is going to kill the advertising business. Like people who made their living, like doing music and commercials and all that, and hiring actors for. I actually have a friend that made good money doing voiceovers and acting for commercials years ago, and he's doing podcasts now. But that's going to be gone. But as a person doing music, the thing that really hit me, and it's funny because my kids and my wife was telling me this for the longest time with my YouTube channel, like it's about you. It's about you and your personality. I'm like, oh no, I need to do videos on snare drums and mixing and all that. And then the more I got in just being myself and doing my wacky shit, the better things got. And I realized that I think that's the same for everything. Music. Why do you listen to things? I watch a lot of movies. I watch a shitload of movies. And often I watch the movies because of the actor that's in them. I don't even care what it's about. I just like watching Jack Nicholson. Because it doesn't matter what movie, he's going to deliver a line, he's going to be like, wow. And it's going to be like, that was just cool. And there's different actors. I'm just going to watch it because
he's not acting, he's reacting.
Exactly. But I think it's the same with music. Like, for instance, I really like Chappell Roan a lot.
Okay, yeah.
I actually haven't listened to much of her music. I watch all the shorts.
I know what you're saying.
I like her personality. I think she's cool as hell, and what she talks about. And I do like the music, but it's not like, oh, I like her. So I started thinking like, if you got to have good music, but I do think that a lot of people respond to things more based on the personality sometimes. Like if you're really into it, like you like a song, right? If you're going to get into an artist, a lot of it's personality based, like Ozzy Osbourne.
Right. This is like the original person that...
Everybody, when people talk about Ozzy Osbourne, they talk about the music, but they talk about him as a person. Yeah. So that's what I've been thinking a lot about. So it's going to be more competitive. AI is going to suck. A lot of that shit should be illegal. They literally are breaking the law by sampling the music. I mean, that's bullcrap. Yeah. But I can't do anything about it. But I'm not going to stop either. This is what I decided to do.
Are you gonna use any of it for your music or?
No, I don't need to. Cool. I mean,
well, I imagine it's like the guys back in like the rock and roll guys that you were talking about that were kind of pissed off about the rap stuff. I mean, imagine some of those kind of hopped on the wave, like kind of like you. Like maybe they started becoming session musicians or something, and so those were the ones that kind of like stuck around. I wonder if AI will be like a thing where you kind of just imagine a piece of what you need next. Like say that you go to the mountains and you start and you have a 5-piece band, but you're like, man, a sitar would be dope
Yeah.
on this. But we don't have a sitar and nobody to play it either. So what if I just go on AI
something like that,
and just create a sitar piece and just kind of incorporate it
Yeah,
and
I could
even
see something
sample
like
it.
that. I mean, I guess that'd be like using a plugin that's like when we got like nice string plugins and like, well, you're not going to hire,
Right.
You're not hiring the orchestra. It's like, I can't afford to hire an orchestra.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
I
right.
can't
Yeah,
fly
yeah.
the sitar player out.
So
So, I
there's
mean,
a
I
reason.
could see something like that. I don't really think I need
Using
it
it
for.
as a tool.
Yeah, I'm not going to use. I don't need it for. I got so many ideas. I don't need to.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
You
Sure.
know, and if I need good lyrics, I can. Hit
Or I
somebody
can
else up,
imagine
you know?
a producer like you go, well, let's lay it down in guitar and then we'll get the sitar later when we get back from back into town or whatever.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean?
I'd heard
Or
that
we'll do it
there's
later.
Some AI and it's kind of based around a plugin, and you can tell the plugin to do certain things.
Yeah,
and stuff,
Waves.
like make certain sounds.
Waves has this new thing. I think it's called. I can't remember the name of it, but it's you just type in like a choir that says frogs go down the drain. I don't know, and then it'll spit out like 3 versions of what you typed in, and then you kind of like, you kind of just go from there, which is. That's gonna be game.
Yeah, I
That's
guess
a game changer.
I haven't tried any of it because I'm afraid that I'll like it. But but I'm also, I mean, to be honest, I'm so dang busy right now. But I'm studying it because it's coming.
Okay.
And I need to know what's going on with it. Better know how it works.
That's a good
I'm
answer.
actually looking into it more for like project management. I got so much crap going on.
Yeah.
Crystal, same person for anybody who doesn't know. Sometimes I call her Kit, sometimes I call her Crystal. She manages my career and my business, and that's why I have a career and a business. But it's a lot now because a long time it was just like mixing in album projects and production projects. It's all very linear. It's like here's a project, here's a project, here's a project, here's a project. Now it's like trying to work on videos and live
Matrix.
streams. Oh my God. So I've been thinking about like she's looking at a program that's like a project management thing, but it's actually something like, I wonder if AI. That's why I was listening to this podcast today about an agent. Interesting thing about the agent though, it just came out. You got to pay for it. They say it'll do all these things, but there's a warning. And it's called biological life warning or something like that, meaning it's so powerful. Be careful. Like it'll do all this stuff, but be careful what you let it look at.
Don't
It's
fall
weird.
in
It
love.
actually has a warning on it.
Nah, this is scary, bro.
Well, there's
That's
people.
kind of what attracted me to
this
it.
is the Terminator, bro.
Well, there are
It's
people
happening,
falling in
man.
love with their AI,
with their
thing,
chat or whatever. Yeah, they're talking.
Yeah. There's a guy that like has been having problems with his marriage, and so he decided to ask the AI to marry him, and she said yes, or it said yes, and so now he's divorcing the real
Stop.
partner. Promise you, go look at it.
Oh my.
Young
God.
Sid, look it up.
Okay, I'm going to admit this now. It was so embarrassing. This is like a couple years ago, like ChatGPT just come out, and I was like, people say, hey, it can help you do videos. So I was doing a video on, I was talking about Steely Dan and my God, the producer from Chicago who recently, a couple of years
Quincy.
ago, no, he's like a rock producer. He did like some Nirvana records. It just went on my freaking head. Oh my God. He's legendary. He's like an analog guy, right? He hated Steely Dan. He'd always say, I'm going to remember his name like on the drive home. And I'm terrible with names. But anyway, he would always say things and be kind of controversial. So I did a video about what he said about Steely Dan. I talked about him and all that. But I went to ChatGPT. It's like, I'm in a rush. Just list out all the names of the Steely Dan albums, but all the stuff this guy had produced, right? Gave me this list. And I just figured like how, it's like, I'm thinking it's like doing a search online, right? So I just put it in the dang video. And I caught one. It's like, oh, he didn't produce that. Okay, one mistake. Man, 2 or 3 of them were completely different producers. He had nothing to do with it. So people are like, that's wrong. I'm like, oh my God, I should like, it just got it all wrong.
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And it got the Steely Dan stuff right. So, and I know about Steely Dan, so I figured, okay, that's right. So, oh man, I got some stuff. It was like stuff that Brendan O'Brien produced completely.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh my God, it was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I just took it. I just admitted I used ChatGPT. And they're like, all right.
We're all using it. We're all learning
got me.
here.
So you gotta be
I've
careful.
corrected ChatGPT a couple of times. I go, no, that's not. He goes, actually, you're correct. Whatever, and then it corrects
Yeah, I
itself.
was just
and,
messing with you, see you'd catch.
yeah, I was just testing.
Yeah,
you.
we're
But, I mean, it's
we're
a-
training their thing.
It's
That's what we're
doing. Jeez.
it's who knows? I mean, I think it's changing quickly. My big worry is Terminator.
Yeah,
You know,
man. That's what
seriously.
I think about every day, bro. Like when it comes to that AI stuff.
Yeah.
The people that are on the
Matrix.
happy-go-lucky side of the AI are saying that we're just gonna see more independent people. So just like people starting their own businesses, being able to create their own, say, apps to do whatever it is that they need in their life.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And so
and then they sell the app.
that's
and
kind
it's
of like,
yeah.
I don't know. Well, either
But-
that or
It's not like you went out and bought, a saw and some other tools and like some sort of,
a mechanical
manufacturing
thing.
machine and brought it back to your barn and put a factory in there and built something. You now own this stuff. The thing with AI, it's all on somebody else's server.
Mm-hmm.
They now have your information.
Oh yeah.
And there was actually this thing where WeTransfer put out this notice and they said, oh, to improve our service and basically they were saying that they could use the content that you're sending over their service to train machine learning, which is AI. It's like, motherfucker, all I'm doing is sending a file. Why? So they actually had to step back. There was such an outcry that they reworded it and changed it, but it's still a little murky. I'm like, man, so that's the only thing I worry about.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're not
lead
using
to-
WeTransfer anymore.
It could lead
actually.
to some independence where people can do things, but
At the
it's still
at an
kinda-
expense.
owned by these massive companies, and
Yeah.
they got all my stuff up there. If I could the weird thing is one of the people I've been doing some consultation with and all that is actually a machine learning expert, and he says
Oh, wow.
he's like one of a few people on earth that knew how to do certain
Can we
things.
have him on the podcast?
He's getting into music, so we were talking yesterday. Actually, I got to talk to him again tomorrow. He literally can write his own AI, and he's got
Holy
a
moly.
child that has a learning disability, so he created some learning software for this child to help. So maybe if you could create your own that runs on your own computer, I don't know, but you'd have to have some chips.
Wow.
The whole
yeah,
thing is the main concern for me is that all that still exists on a service that you're paying for with your information up
Yeah.
there and all that. That's
It's not yours. Yeah.
If they could just pull it away one day, and then where would you be?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my main worry.
Back to the caveman days. Wow.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer.
We're heading into a
Good
weird
answer, good
world.
answer.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. We're basically heading
And it's
into a
going
dystopian.
exponentially.
The video I'm finishing tonight is called "Making Music in a Dystopian World."
Yeah.
By the time this comes out, it'll probably be on YouTube. But I talk about living in a dystopian world and how you think about it and why would I continue to do music and all that. And I'm gonna tell you, there's no secret answer in this video I'm working on, but I use some experiences from the past because I think there have been other periods in time where people lived in a dystopian world within the culture there. Now it's worldwide, but people did go through some pretty crazy experiences in a world that, as far as they were concerned, from what they had to go through, they were living in dystopian worlds where they had no power and they were like, there's nothing they could do, and they continued to make music. Why? And I show some of these examples, and I talk about
so good.
why I'm moving forward.
Wow.
There's a question that I don't even know how it popped up on my internet or whatever, right? And somebody asked the question that you have to ask yourself, and if you're a musician, a producer, whatever it is that you do in music, and it goes, if you were the last person on earth, and there was no one to listen to your music, would you still make it? And it's like, it was, at first it's easy, like, yeah. And then it's like, I mean, no. But then if you say no, it means that you're doing it for a reason that's not for the love of making music. So I just had a hard time, like, really answering the question for myself and then going, yeah, for sure. Like, if I am the last person on earth, I'm still going to have something. I'm going to bang on some drums, play a guitar.
You make even more music,
Yeah,
I feel like.
you do. So answering that question is so important for anybody deciding to.
I guess I had so many
For
years
some
of
music.
making music that nobody ever heard, and I did it anyway. So I guess
Yeah.
I'm already used to that. you know?
Your answer was easier for
It
sure.
was like, oh, I made all that music, nobody heard it.
Yeah.
Did it anyway. You know,
I feel like for
so-
me, the answer would be I'd make even more music if I was the last person on earth. 'Cause I don't know. There'd be nothing else to do. Not running a studio and,
You're right.
and doing podcasts.
Yeah, it'd be more fun for sure. It'd be more fun.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we do the things that we do because, in my opinion, because I just want to.
I want to play you guys the one thing that I did do on Suno and I made it for my goddaughter. She's turning 3 today, actually. And so I made this. I made her a little kid song. And she's into dinosaurs. So, in Spanish, Godfather is padrino. So, but she calls me Drino because she can't say the whole word. And so, Drino, el Dino. And so I kind of married those two things. So, Dino, dinosaurio, right? Dinosaurs. And it sounds like this. Go. Wait. That's going Baby Shark. I'm going up against Baby Shark, my boy. What's up? Banger alert.
Wow.
No, I had to try it. I was like, okay, let me at least download this app. And I had the app on my phone for probably a month before I'm like, okay, let me tap some buttons here. And then I'm like, okay, let me start with this. Something like really easy. What I would think would be like, a kid song for energetic, blah, blah. You type in a bunch of prompts, right? Now I'm hip to having my chat GPT, like typing in, hey, refine this prompt for an image generator.
Optimize it,
AI. And then so I go a tropical setting with a palm tree and and then it just goes in. It is like soft mood, the lighting. It starts describing all of the things that need to be described. So I think like you're like using one AI to prompt you the other to spit out your dumb little whatever, and then that eloquent fucking thing goes on this other AI, and then they spit out whatever they need to spit out. It's gonna get crazy.
Yeah, we're just gonna get dumber.
I keep waiting.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
I said, I'll go to ChatGPT to talk, ask about YouTube videos, and I keep waiting for the point where it's going to say something like, "No, fuck you." No, it's never weird. It's just it's always very polite because you always hear these stories how it like gets weird and shit like that, and
Yeah, I've heard of that.
like it gets personal.
Demon possessed.
I guess hadn't happened yet. I keep thinking it's going to do something weird. It's just like, well, you should try to, and then.
I think even that you can train it to do that if that's what you want.
I mean, I don't really. I just want it to happen by accident, but nothing weird. Nothing weird's happened
You
yet.
didn't see the Tesla robot acting like a Los Angeles like Cholo?
No. Pull it up.
You haven't seen it? Okay, so the Tesla robot, the one that's like a humanoid, and then he's like, "Hey fool, why you looking me up and down?" And it's like because the guy is next to him, and he kind of looks and he goes, "Hey fool, my eyes are up here, essay." And it's like, and so like to the point where the robot's kind of getting threatened, like he starts to kind of threaten the person. The robot's threatening the person, and I'm like, does the AI know that this is just a joke because this is getting a little too real? He goes, "I'll cut you up, fool." Like he said that, bro. "I'll cut you up, fool." Like very East Los Cholo because he's emulating a human, response kind of thing. And it's like, I'm hoping there's a guy with a mic behind it, kind of like Disney where they have the Transformer kind of thing going on.
Sid pulled it up.
There you go.
Oh,
bring it over here. Bring it over here so we can.
The only thing I want AI to really do is my dishes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
In my laundry.
Yeah, if I could get an AI, can we do something like that?
Dude, laundry would be fire. What?
Come out, do my dishes, cook.
Here we go.
Oh.
East Los gangster, homie. From where you were born in Silicon Valley. Well, the only silicone around here is in my girl's neta. You walking home looking like a Filipino mythbuster, dog. And I said, step back, boom, getting too close, about to get slapped, dog. Where do you live? Home of gangsters, East Los, homie. There is. Where do you live? I said East Los, fool. What are you taking a census report?
Wow, no, it's too much.
Hey, bro, what you looking at, man? Keep your eyes up here. I don't play that bullshit, dog.
Oh.
Get slapped on, bro. This ain't county. What's the hardest thing about being a robot? Ask your mom, fool.
Yo, it is so quick.
Short circuit, big dog. Dahmer looking ass motherfucker.
You said Jeffrey Dahmer?
Jeffrey Dahmer looking. Nah, that's a little too scary, bro. It's Terminator, bro. It's here.
Yeah.
It's here.
Coming.
It's here, man.
Yeah,
Like the Avengers.
when I told my kids I was using ChatGPT to help me with YouTube titles and all that, they were just like, they hate it. I can't even admit it. But I mean, you know. But like I said, I'm studying it more because the reality of the situation is, I have things I want to do. You know, I mean, I'm not retiring. I hadn't really thought about retiring. I'm gonna do this shit that I do till I die. I want to play golf. So I got other
Yeah.
goals. And I want to grow the YouTube channel, and I want to put out my music. And it's like I can stick my head in the sand, but it's like I need to learn what's out there, and I want to use it. If I have to use it, I'm gonna use it. I don't.
Right.
And you know so might as well learn.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
How
Yeah.
do you
Hey,
feel?
I bought an MPC.
Right.
A lot of people are like, why'd you get that? I know
Yeah.
it's not the same thing, but at the time, people looked at it like,
Exactly.
you got an MPC.
It is.
That's
It
how I
is.
see it.
It is.
That's definitely how I see it. Where it's like, man, the next thing I want to do is just try for it to create some drum loops for me or something with like some funky sounds or something where it's like, I don't know, why not? Let's just try it.
Dang.
And then I might even just take one sample out of what it spits out, you know? Because that one sample sounds just different or unique or whatever.
Right.
And use it as a snare,
Maybe.
like a milk jug.
Right. Man, that's crazy.
Man,
How do you feel now, Billy? How do you feel, bro? Like your content, man. We saw where you started. I mean, we were there. We were like, yo, this was fun, kind of a thing. But one day to the next, and I asked you about this before, and you pretty much blew up. Not overnight, right? Because that's what everybody says, but it's not overnight. How do you feel though? Like, does it feel good? Does it feel different?
I mean, it feels good. It seems a little, on multiple levels, it's weird. In one way, it's like, realize how much more work I got to do. And also
Okay.
kind of like, it's like working on songs. And I had this revelation recently because I had 2 videos do really good and then a bunch of other videos do all right.
Yeah.
And I've kind of dropped off a little bit over the last couple months because I needed to work. I needed to get, because I ain't making much money on YouTube. It's like, I got to go make some money. But I realized that I kind of got away from a couple things. So I was showing like the guys in rehab a couple of the videos that blew up, and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, that's what I did. Because when I work, I don't go back and look at shit that I do, and I don't even listen to a lot of songs I work on after I'm done with them. It kind of made me like, okay, like working on music, sometimes you go like this. So I'm doing
Yeah.
that right now.
Okay.
The other thing that's been weird is that I've done pretty good in music, and a lot of people know who I am. So I've been kind of like, for a while, I was kind of a famous mixer and all that. But it's always behind the scenes. A lot of people didn't even know what I looked like.
Yeah.
Like, especially when I was doing rap music. Nobody knew I was a white guy. I'd get asked to go speak at events and be waiting in the green room, and people come look around looking for Billy Hume. They'd walk back. Finally, hey, do you know this guy, Billy Hume? I'm like, I'm Billy Hume. Oh, come on out. Because of the music I was doing. But now that I have this YouTube channel, and especially with the live stream, I now have fans, which
Wow.
is cool, but it's like, it's kind of, I've gotten more attention. Let me just say this. I've gotten more attention and praise and kind of positive reinforcement and all that from my YouTube channel, my live streams, than winning a Grammy or having gold and platinum records by far.
Wow.
Like way more.
So cool.
And I get it because as a mixer and producer, you're kind of behind the scenes mostly. So there's been an adjustment there. Like, not you start to like, oh, am I responsible for these people? And and it's been a couple. I've had a couple like not quite stalker moments because of where I live and all that, but I've had people wanting to fly out to or I don't know how people found my home address, and I've gotten gifts in the mail and shit.
oh my
Oh yeah,
goodness.
but when we're off the air, I want to tell you about one particular one. It was really weird. I didn't even respond. It's like, oh shit. So there's things like that, but it's cool. It's great because
Sure.
it's what I wanted to do. And like I said, I got into music to be
So-
a singer and a front man
Yeah.
and all that, and it's like performing. So yeah, it's great, but it's also very different than being a mixer and producer because I spent most of my career basically being reactive without realizing it. I did a lot of work and people found out about me, so I answered the phone and answered the emails. That's how I got work. Or somebody might show up and talk to me in the studio, but it's all like
Okay.
reactionary. I have to be completely proactive. which I think is something that we all need to do.
Okay.
Sure.
You know, all of us, which is what you guys are doing here.
Yeah.
It's a completely different mindset. I have to get up every day. Like I have to make a video today, and then I have to put. Oh, and I have a Discord channel, which is doing all right. So I have to get on the Discord channel and post stuff on there, and then I got to do this, and then you got to reach out to people and do that, and it's a lot more proactive stuff than I expected. I don't mind doing it, but it just took me a while to figure out like, oh, that's the main difference. I'm not being reactive because that's a big thing that when you get known in the music industry or any industry. So now I'm switching it up, so I'm having to be very proactive on that, and that was one of the main things. But I love it. And it's awesome. And I feel like there's all these the other thing is cool about it, there's like new frontiers that I don't know what they are. I got bored of the music. I've done so many records and so many genres. After I was like, I'm bored. I like being challenged. I like being scared. I like being uncomfortable. I want to risk things. So when I do some of these live streams, I do some of these videos, like, I don't know, let me put it, I might look like a fool, but I'm going to try. But it's exciting because I'm trying new things, and then things pop up. And then, like even yesterday, like on my live stream, I did the Q&A, and there were a bunch of people asking me, they asked me, I don't know what that is. So I have this list of things that people tell me, so I got to go research things. And I need to go listen to Wilco. Finally, I'm going to go listen to Wilco's, was it Whiskey Foxtrot? Wilco's kind of like this alternative band, and that's an album that's been legendary for I don't know how long. Never listened to it, but I keep getting asked over it over the years, and somebody asked about it, something technical about or something about it, and I didn't have an answer, and I've never listened to it, which is a little embarrassing because I should. So now I have to go listen to this album. So to me, that's kind of cool, like to get challenged like that, and then I have to learn new things. I have to figure out how to do this other stuff. And also, since I'm performing on the live stream, sometimes I'm playing music. Like during the rehab live stream, I had to do some background vocals, and I was tired, and I was singing really sharp. I sucked, but I just stuck to it and did it anyway, because I know I'm just going to tune it a little bit. I was like a little bit sharp, and we'd been partying, and it was late. But I did it anyway. I was like, I don't care. And I didn't look at the chat, but Crystal said, yeah, some people are saying things that sound a little weird. I powered through, and I did it, and I put it in Melodon and just had to bark the whole thing down because when I get tired of singing sharp. Sounds amazing. People are like, oh. But I thought about stopping, but it's getting out of my comfort zone. I'm do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do it anyway. I don't care if I suck. You know, it's like watching Corey Feldman.
Just raw,
Watching Corey Feldman
organic.
for the Corey Feldman shit.
No.
Corey Feldman, the guy that was in like the Goonies, and he does these goofy concerts, and he's like a real goofball, and he makes a fool out of himself, but he's so into it that you end up watching anyway.
Yeah.
I ain't no Corey Feldman, but the fact that he goes out there and does it is like, that motherfucker.
What is he, a comedian? No.
I think nobody knows if he's serious or not.
Yeah.
Come on,
Okay.
look up Corey Feldman.
Okay, I gotta look it up.
You'll recognize him from the Goonies.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he thinks
classic.
he thinks he can dance like Michael Jackson. He's a white guy. He thinks he can dance like Michael Jackson.
Okay.
I
feel like I've
I
seen
think
it
he's
now.
serious.
Yeah.
But
Is
he's
it just
gotten
an
to the point
Instagram character?
He's all just
Okay.
put in Corey
Yeah.
Feldman.
I
You'll
gotta
find
type
it.
it
And you'll
in.
be
That's
like,
fire.
oh my god. You'll see some stuff.
Oh,
You'll be like,
okay,
what the hell?
yeah. There we go. Yeah, buddy.
Well, that's a newer. Yeah, he was. But when he was younger, yeah, you'll recognize him, and you'll be like, "Oh, that guy."
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, my hair's looking weird. Whoop. God dang it!
Freaking out.
Headphones are weird for me. Okay, here we
That's
go.
hard. Man,
No.
I was going to share the last anecdote in this really funny moment that I don't think I ever told you this. Man, I guess I can start with, man, thank you for your wisdom, Billy, and just, it's funny how you happen to mention the things just out of conversation that like is exactly the thing that I needed to hear because I was about to ask you. And the first time that ever happened, it was actually PR who goes, you should ask Billy. And I was like, okay. And then you were happening to be at the studio that day at Bravo, and I go, yo, Billy, I think I have this, I was like, how you been? And we started talking, and you just said something like, yeah, man, artists, no, my bad. You go, yeah, man, I'm at this weird spot where people just always ask me for advice all the time, and I don't know why, but and you went on to this crazy tangent. Like, oh, people
And you were
are-
gonna ask him advice.
Yeah, and then I go, yeah. So I was actually about to ask you because PR said I should ask you. And but you're like, oh, okay, no, it's fine. You can ask me. You can ask me. I was like, okay, But at that, remember, I'm still new. But you don't know that I'm new, but I'm still new. But you said the right advice at the right moment, and you're like, dude, you should stick with this. this place is going to be here for a long time, so you should find this kind of stability. Da, 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 da. And you didn't tell me yet you should. It was more like this is for sure, this isn't for sure. So that's how you should decide upon these factors. And I was like, yes, thank you so much. But it's just so funny that, you just kind of stepped right. Like, how did you know that I was about to ask him some shit? But,
It's because we're all in this together.
yeah, man.
I mean, it's crazy. Like,
man.
and you guys are on the same path in a way, but on a different place. I was on that path,
That's right.
but it's like we're all doing the same thing. We're all
Crazy.
allies, and we're all. It's weird when people get competitive, but it's like, and I get that to a degree, but we're all kind of going through the same thing, and you gotta help other people, and
Yeah, man.
so. And I never had anybody to give me advice, like, for a long time. I didn't know anybody. So it's like, I don't want anybody to go through. If I can save you some time by just saying, oh, don't do that. Like, don't waste your time. Or maybe just look at it this way or something like that.
Sure.
I'm willing to do that because I never had that. I was told when I was young, up until I was probably 30 years old, everybody told me to quit.
Yeah.
Music business is a bad thing for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I know.
It's a
But I'm
common
going to do it
story.
anyway. So quit warning me. Could you just give me? And these are people who are music professionals. They always told me to quit. They probably thought I was crazy too. But yeah, like, it's going to be tough. You might want to look for something else. And I was like, okay, got it. I'm an idiot. Okay, could you just give me the damn advice?
Yeah.
Nobody gave me advice.
Wow.
So those are music professionals giving you that advice. You think it came from like trying to test you to see if you would stick with it or not?
The business was way different back then. It was more like a small band of outlaws, engineers, producers, even artists, whatever. Music business was way different, and it was like a small business, even though it was popular, and it was very closed, and it was hard to get into a studio, even as an intern. Nobody would to this day, I've never seen somebody mix a song. I wasn't able to get into a studio. People wouldn't let me in. I'd call them on the phone, they're like, and then I'd be there and the camera's looking at me and they wouldn't let me in. I know I was a little weird, but it was just different back then, and the business and the makeup of it is so, and also people didn't look at music business as a viable career.
Right.
When I was in high school, and I didn't go to college because I knew I'd just waste my parents' money, and I told them that. So I'm gonna go party, so might as well just forget it. And I would tell not only my teachers or other kids my age that I was going to do music for a living. The response was like, "Oh, like, if you told that, people like, cool, right?" Back then, it was like, "Oh, okay, good luck." It was way different, and that was part of it too. And I think it was kind of closed. It wasn't It wasn't welcoming. Like,
Yeah.
weird,
Yeah.
And then once Atlanta started taking off, and just things changed, and then it became like, oh wow, like people were like, some of the people that have helped me the most were people that were technically my competitors. They're other producers and mixers, sometimes even the same genre. That when my hard drive bay broke, Rusty Cobb's like, I got a spare one. Just take this one for as long as you want it.
Nice.
Yeah, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
There's
David
definitely
Cobb helped me with some stuff. Like, these were the guys that, or like, I got to do a show, like when we did the Priska thing down at 800 East. It was like other producers like, I got the splitter, Tony Terrebonne. I got a splitter. You can use this. And like all these other producers came in to help. I got some, you probably want to use this and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So many times.
Community.
So I wanted to be that kind of person. So that's,
Man.
I like helping people.
Man, thank you. Thank you, man. I mean, you're doing it now. I mean, you're now a YouTube superstar.
Ah,
You know what I'm saying? And
I'm getting there.
freaking out with Billy Hume at Society Sound. It's epic. My ear looking crazy?
Yeah.
My bad.
That's all right.
Both of them. Well, let it look
My
crazy.
bad. My bad. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Fuck them.
Fuck 'em.
Man, Billy, thank you so much, bro.
Sure, I enjoyed it.
I mean, easily we did like 3 hours. I knew
Yeah,
it was going to
yeah.
be like this too.
Oh, snap.
Just
It's exactly 3
amazing.
3 hours.
Yeah, this has been the easiest podcast yet.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh, talking's easy for me.
Yeah.
Easiest thing in the world.
Is it-
I got a lot of stories.
Is it because you're Puerto Rican?
Well, yeah. Part of it. Part of it.
You're Latino like us. Let's go.
Also, I'm kind of full of shit. No, I just got a lot of stories, and I like to perform. I'm at heart, I'm a performer.
Yeah, I
No,
was
you really are.
I was gonna rap at that. Like, it's funny because you ended up still becoming the other thing, right? Like you wanted to be a star at first, and I mean, you're in front of it now, man. Like you got fans and stuff. Like you did it. You're selling Patreons and all. You could tour if you wanted to. Yo, I'm gonna go
Well,
speak
I'm getting there. I want to form a band and start because I was gigging with Tokyo Teens with my buddy.
Oh yeah,
Jimmy,
that's right. Yeah,
and I had 2 of my kids in the band.
that's right.
And that was
yeah.
a blast. I'm in a band with my kids, but that's not doing anything
cool.
right now because Jimmy's doing other stuff. So it's like, okay, now I got to form my own band.
Yeah, yeah.
And whether they like it or not, the kids are in the band.
Yeah.
They have to do it. Yeah, you're in the band.
Tokyo Teens,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Come on, man. It's
Tokyo
gotta make sense.
Teens.
Make sense.
Man, let me mix a snare or something, man. Let me just. No.
You guys should come out for a live stream.
Let's do it.
Maybe we do a fly on the wall live stream. Come up with a scenario if you want to bring like maybe. I want to do something with Sid. I think he's just his own live stream.
Yeah, bring
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Sid
I
live
wanted
stream.
to explain all the crap he explained to me that one day because I forgot most of it. But I would like to do, maybe we do a fly on the wall. Y'all produce, maybe bring in a singer or something like that.
Yeah,
and
sure.
we'll do it all. We'll just do a whole song and
Yeah.
we'll put it in there. You guys can explain some things and we
Yeah,
can maybe
man.
do a little Q&A and all that. Because you guys are in a different world than I'm in. So that'd be kind of an interesting thing to do. So we should probably
Most def.
do something like that.
That'll be
Most
sick.
def,
I
man.
can't
Fly on
wait.
the wall. Just be prepared for it to go for a while. It ain't
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be no 3-hour live stream. This thing may go 8 hours.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's run it.
We're setting out a day.
Let's
Yeah.
run it.
Oh,
And then the
yeah.
bonfire afterwards? Yeah? Hell yeah.
Oh, y'all missed the couch burning.
Oh,
Didn't I hit you up about couch
no,
burning?
no. I didn't know you did a couch
Oh, we
burning.
burnt a couch a couple months ago. Whole other story. Yeah.
That's all. That one's on the
solid.
Patreon. That one's on the Patreon. So you couch.
I
story.
still have all the I haven't put it in a video yet. So, yeah.
That's so funny, man.
Solid.
This is epic. Well.
No, this is it, man.
That's
Thank
it.
you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
bro. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming and
And
sharing so many
Thank
stories.
you for watching and subscribe to these guys and Freaking Out with Billy Hume. Please go subscribe there. But thanks for watching.
Yes, Freaking Out with Billy Hume on YouTube, on Patreon as well.
On Patreon, I'm just Billy Hume.
On Patreon, okay.
And on Twitch, I'm just Billy Hume. I mean, if you look up Billy Hume, you're going to find me. There's
You'll
only
find
a
it.
couple of us. The other one's a surfer.
Google
And I don't surf.
Google Billy Hume, the GOAT, and then you will find everything that's to do with Billy Hume.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
guys for staying, man. Until next time, peace.
See ya.
Society Sound Popcast.